single axle trucks, including
Rated online gambling website.
there goes one.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Gets the back to the show. Back to the Hopkins.
On Sports 1440.
Point Hudson. Down Wallace. Winner for Hero. Slotkovsky.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
There goes Wemby. Took it off the glass. Put it behind his back. Rhino sends a 7-0 rush. Wemby.
Sports 1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Of course, you got the Jason Gregor Show odds boost. You can check out those. Of course, you know they're going to be involving the Edmonton Oilers and the Anaheim Ducks tonight, and then one involving some of the other games. Of course, Flyers, Penguins, Sens, Hurricanes, Wild, and Stars. You can get on all the action at PlayAlberta.ca. And traditions, man, they're great. And the tradition of playoff hockey and live at OTR, that's what we do. We are live and on the rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street, and your place to watch the game. They got big screens, multiple big screens, lots of TVs. Unbelievable place to watch the game. If you like to be with lots of your fellow Oiler fans, of course, they got specials tonight on fireballs for $5. You get hot dogs. You can build your own pad. They're on special. And, of course, you get in on a happy hour from 4 until 7. So check it out. Also, guess what their beer feature of the week is? Wolf. Good local beer. If you haven't had it from Sea Change, you should. It's very good. So check it out at OTR. I'm Jason Gregor. Connor Halley back at the studio alongside Declan Kruger. Be sure to give those guys a thumbs up on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Instagram. And we got lots and lots to get to on the show today. Kevin Woodley, we're going to go a deep dive as we always do before every Oilers series. We'll break down Dostal and Ingram. Paul Sir will talk a little NBA as the playoffs have begun in the National Basketball Association. And how about the one stat that blows my mind? Detroit has lost 11 consecutive home games in the playoffs. 11! Oh, that's brutal for them. Craig Button will be by talking NHL playoffs, these 7 other series have all played one game. The Oilers and the Ducks will be the last one to start later on tonight. Steve Carroll will join us, give the thoughts on the Ducks. Longtime voice of the Ducks. Also, Mark Spector will be by, Cam Tate. We're going to hear from Joe Quenneville. We're also going to hear from a few members of the Oilers, Matthias Ekholm, as well as Zach Hyman, Chris Knobloch, Leon Draisaitl. He's playing. I know that 100% Leon Draisaitl's playing, and I'm very certain Jason Dickinson is playing for the Edmonton Oilers. So the lineup that they're going to go with tonight is a lineup that you've actually never seen this year. When you talk all 18 skaters and Connor Ingram, it would be the first time they've all played in the same game tonight. Savoy with McDavid and Hyman, Draisaitl with Kapanen, Podkolzin, Dickinson, Roslovic, Nugent Hopkins, Henrique with Frederick and Doc, Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse Murphy, Wallman Emerson, and Connor Ingram will start in goal. So that looks to be the lineup tonight. You had Lazar and Szymanski putting in extra work at the end of the morning skate. Today was an optional morning skate, which has become kind of the thing for the Edmonton Oilers on skate days, which is fine. So that's the lineup we think that they will start with, and I get it. Sean Brown joins us as always on Monday afternoons. Brownie, how you doing, my man?
A lot better than I did felt last weekend. So yeah, feel good, excited. I think with this nice weather, it's just so nice with the weather getting better and the playoffs starting. And I think as a hockey fan, there's nothing better turning on the TV and basically, especially the first round, just having all that hockey all day long. It's awesome.
And Saturday, 3 seconds in, you got Tkachuk and Stahl fighting. And, that game I thought was, it's hard checking. I'm not sure it's going to be the most exciting series. But, man, Minnesota absolutely spanked the Dallas Stars. Like, that 6-1 score was reflective of the game. They just looked way better. Dallas looked sluggish. Game 2 tonight, Dallas at home. They gotta wake up here. They could be out of that series. So we'll see how they bounce back. Then you had the Penguins losing at home 3-2 to Philadelphia. What about the rookie Porter Martone? Are you kidding me? The guy's come in now. He had 10 points in 9 games of regular season, scores a game winner as a teenager in his first playoff game. Massive. And then Sunday, though, the games I felt they just got better and better. You had the LA made it close against Colorado. It's pretty I was surprised at actually how well Colorado didn't really dominate to the level I thought they would. They still won, though, so that's bad news for LA. Then you had Montreal game was unbelievable against Tampa Bay, goes to overtime. Slavkovsky, first ever player in NHL history to get a hat trick with all the goals in the power play. Then you had Buffalo for 52 minutes. Sabre fans, you waited 15 years to finally have a playoff game. Then you had to wait 52 minutes in to finally get a goal. But, man, then the building just went nuts. And Tage Thompson scores. Then he ties it. Then Samuelson gets the go-ahead goal. Then they have the empty netter. Boston scores with like 5 seconds left to make it 4-3. But huge comeback. And then the Vegas-Utah game, man, that had a lot of juice in that game. I liked it. Utah, though, showing a little bit of an experience, at a 2-1 lead in the third, couldn't hold it. Vegas comes back and wins. And, man, Sunday was a great day, and I'm looking forward to tonight's game for sure. So let's start with the Ducks, Brownie. And I know maybe we can overrate experience. Like, look at Tampa Bay. They're the more experienced team, and they played inexperienced, taking too many stupid penalties. But I look at this Ducks team, and I was walking around the room today, and they are huge. Like, their young forwards are big, but like, big is one thing. Just learning the game and how to play it at the key time is hard, man. And like look at Draisaitl, McDavid. Like, those guys, like, I know they won their first ever playoff series, but then they win again for 5 more years. So it takes a while to learn how to win regularly in the NHL.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it's a different ball of wax now. I mean, it's the regular season's one season, and everyone talks about the playoffs being another one. And they are going to be big. I think right now for me, it's just whether you have the experience or you're going in there with a lack of experience, it's who can kind of find their game, right? Whether you're a rookie or a veteran, I think that's doesn't matter where you are. You're just the sooner you can get comfortable with the feel, the atmosphere. On your skates, with your hands, making plays, seeing plays, that those are, as an individual and as a team, that's kind of what you're looking for. Sometimes that experience can go good in a sense that, you're kind of naive to the moment that it is. Obviously, Rogers Place is going to be just kind of buzzing. And if you can kind of go in there and, don't have a lot to draw from and just play hockey, that could be a good thing too. But, the Oilers have a ton of it. They've been to a couple game sevens here. They got, two of the best superstars in the game, two of the toughest superstars. And, I love the fact, when you watch Connor McDavid come out of that tunnel and he's just buzzing and running out on that ice, that's why he's doing that. He knows the importance of the first shift at the puck of the drop to be ready to go. And that's that veteran type of approach is obviously, I think, is what's going to help the Oilers coming down the stretch here.
Chris Knobloch today said, and so did Joe Quenneville, both coaches, that they don't expect any real significant hard matchups as far as always wanting to get certain guys out there. You look at Anaheim's, like their scoring is spread out. Cutter Gauthier is on their third line with McTavish, and he leads their team with 40 goals. He's got 41. Then you got the Carlson line, right? Then you got Killorn and their second line. Like they're balanced attack with 6 or 7 forwards that can all score you 15 plus goals. Then Jackson Lacombe. Like I think Jackson Lacombe is the one guy with Trouba they'd like to get out against McDavid. I think D pairs usually you can match up a little bit easier at times. But what do you make? Both coaches like, hey, we're comfortable with our bottom 6 playing against the other team's top guys. And the return of Jason Dickinson, Brownie, we saw it before he got injured. Like the Tampa Bay game is the one that really stood out because Tampa came to town and Dickinson played basically the same amount of minutes against Kucherov as McDavid did. And Dickinson's line had more success in that regard. So you see it tonight. And if you're Knobloch, you don't take McDavid away from anybody, but I wonder if we see, Dickinson eating up half of the minutes or at least 40% of the minutes against Carlson's line.
Yeah, I think as a coach, you got to be careful that you got to play your guys. You got to get your guys out there, and everyone's kind of got to get a feel. And I think, for the Oilers, obviously, they're expecting a long run. I don't think you want to tax guys too early. Too often in a series. I think it's, you never know how long the series is going to go, but at the end of the day, I think as a coach, the strength of your team is your team. They've made some of these pickups, whether it's, Dickinson or Doc, as a coach, I'd want to try and get everyone going right away, get everyone feeling it. I think when you start to match guys up and you start playing that game, especially early, it starts, guys are revving to go. Guys just want to kind of get out there. And I think the strength of their team, and I think both coaches want that, right? If they can throw guys out there and just kind of roll them over and just similar to a wave, just kind of keep it going. Because both teams are going to want to play fast. They're going to want to play with a lot of energy, and they're going to want to play very physical, I'm assuming, right? And if you can have as many guys feeling it and engaged, it's only going to benefit both teams.
Obviously the return of Draisaitl is massive. Nobody can downplay it. It's huge for him. He's 1.41 points per game in his career in the postseason. Only McDavid, Lemieux, and Gretzky have scored more points per game than Draisaitl. We're talking all time. Like McDavid and Draisaitl are both guys who show up in the postseason, as does Evan Bouchard. Only Bobby Orr has a higher points per game so far than Bouchard, who has 81 points in his 75 playoff games. Is there a way, do you think, for Anaheim to kind of control Bouchard's impact on the Oilers?
Well, I think you talked about it at the beginning of the show, just how big they are, right? It's one thing to be big. The other thing is to use that size to your advantage. So I would assume that Anaheim would probably want to play a physical game, want to get pucks in, not only on Bouchard, just in general. It's the hardest, one of the hardest plays in hockey as a defenseman is constantly going back to pucks and, having guys finish their check. It's not necessarily going to show up, in the first game, but we all know that, over time that just kind of pays itself off. But, for, every good player makes great plays when they have time and space, and good players make mistakes when they know they're going to get hit and they know they're going to be forechecked. And, obviously Anaheim has some guys up front that can definitely get in on the forecheck and make life a little bit miserable for the Oilers defensemen. So I think the keys early is, for everyone to kind of get that feel for the puck, and for, whether it's Bouchard or any of those guys, to try and get some quick touches and, some nice clean entrances or exits out of their zone. But, the Oilers also have some guys too that, play, you look at Doc, that Henrique and Frederic line. I expect them to go out there and just hit everything that moves. And And then you got, Kapanen. I think, although he's been fighting a little bit in his game, I think this is a perfect opportunity for him just to kind of, insert his physicalness to the series and to the game. And then all the other areas of his game, I think, are going to kind of, start to show. So I think that's the strategy of every team, is especially early in the playoffs. Just watching it the last couple of days here, it's physical. Everyone's finishing their check. So I think that's important for Anaheim to get in there and, make it miserable for guys, but also, for the Edmonton Oilers to make it hard for their star players, because they're going to go after and make it difficult for Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. Well, we got to make sure that we're returning the favor, and I think we have some guys in the lineup that are feeling more comfortable in their game and doing that.
You look at the difference coming into this game, and I know, hey, the playoffs, everything's changed and it's different, but the Oilers in their last 10 games have allowed 22 goals against. The Ducks in their last 10 games have allowed 41 goals against. Anaheim's been a team that they will struggle with the defensive side. To me, that's their weak. You get the Oilers. If the Oilers can cycle the puck, force the Ducks to have to play more defensive, eventually they're going to have a breakdown. That's been kind of their MO all year long. Joe Quenneville talked about it, especially off the rush. He feels that's where his team's been susceptible. So if you're a team like Edmonton, obviously with their speed, have you noticed, are there ways to exploit a team where you can create more rush chances? What do you do to create more rush chances? Is it have them try risky plays in the offensive zone so you transition, or what do you do that's going to lead to more odd man rush chances?
Well, I think if anything, the Oilers, like I said, they got some guys up front. A lot of it is where you kind of place those pucks. Making sure that, a lot of teams kind of have a strategy on whether you enter the left side or the right side, where, is it a cross corner dump? Is it a soft chip into a certain corner? And a lot of teams will have a kind of a strategy, because it's one thing to get pucks in. It's just, you got to make sure you're the one getting that first touch and getting that lick in there. Obviously, coming out of your zone clean, right? Having everyone kind of working back, supporting the puck in your zone, which, everyone kind of predictable in their routes, will allow some of the guys like Ekholm and Bouchard to kind of be, they have the ability to make those unpredictable plays under pressure that not a lot of guys can do. It's just that play away from the puck is obviously going to be very important. And I think if they can, like you said, make it hard on their defensemen. They got a few guys that are big and physical and heavy, but they got some guys, Zellweger and being one of them, that's small. Like, make them defend, make them stay in his zone, right? Hold on to those pucks, protect those pucks, go low to high. I definitely think the Oilers play well when they go low to high and they kind of have that forward kind of come up nice and high into that soft area, right? And now all of a sudden, when you're getting pucks to the net, you got that forward kind of coming down on the puck. I know what it's like to play against teams like that, where it just seems like that forward's kind of coming out of nowhere and he's able to get to pucks a little quicker than you. And I think that style of play, you see some of the teams in NHL do it. It's hard to play against when a player is always coming down, and it just feels like you have no time and space. And then obviously with the energy and the enthusiasm guys are going to play with, and the fact that they're going to finish their check, it's just going to make it tough. So, the Oilers got some big, heavy guys that can play, below the goal line and along the boards. And I think that's the key, is hang out down there, feel comfortable holding on to it, make sure you got good puck support, don't throw pucks away, and make them earn everything that they get.
Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. We'll get your thoughts. You can always text us, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. What are your thoughts? Let's get into it. What are you feeling on, we are 6 hours away from puck drop. Those of you who are watching the game or going to the game tonight, I know the broadcast is at 8, but just so you know, puck drop tonight's probably closer to about 8:22. If we like to be specific, which we do on this show. So just keep in mind, you'll have some time. Relax. We'll return. Kevin Woodley, in-depth breakdown on the goaltending. Coming up next, it's the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, coming live and on the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. When it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Founded since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
I won't shave till we bring home the cup.
And I like to do a shot for every playoff goal.
My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs again.
Want a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhock beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhock, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Will Hockey game day with Wilhock beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't bring home the cup with salad.
Oodle Noodle Origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just Resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
It's playoff time on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. This is Andrew Walker. Join us for the Titan Supply pregame show before each Edmonton playoff game. Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products.
At GS Construction, we're multitaskers. We've got lots of projects going on all around Edmonton and area. Different teams across the city working towards the same outcome. Installing today what will serve generations to come. It's a rewarding career and the work never stops. That's why GS Construction is always on the lookout for great people to join us. Right now, we're looking for experienced topmen, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. So if you want to feel valued, empowered, and engaged in your work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell. And we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me. GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country. I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV, and you'll notice something different about our store compared to the new RV stores. Our lot is full, bursting at the seams with quality used RVs for you to see. The new RV stores, well, their stuff is trickling in. For the most part, they're taking orders for trailers and motorhomes to be delivered at some future date.
At Noble, you can take yours home right away. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. Every RV on our lot is ready to go. Bring your truck and you can take it home with you. You could be enjoying the great outdoors this weekend if you want. And because every RV on our lot is one of a kind, it's worth it to take a look around. It's not like we have 20 of the exact same model.
That's what the new RV stores look like.
Not here, Bob. Every single one is different. The perfect used RV for your family is probably on our lot already. Why not pick it up before someone else does?
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
Countering and getting back to his left. And when he comes off.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes, and they've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 1-888-888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, well, tonight it starts. You got to lay it on the line every night in the NHL playoffs in the hopes that what you lay on the line is better than the opposition for a total of 16 times. You get 16 wins, and you get to not only drink from the Stanley Cup, but have something that no one ever can take away from you, which is a Stanley Cup championship. And obviously, for every player, that's the goal. I think there's a little added pressure at times for top end players. I'm not sure it's fair. I'm a big believer that teams win Stanley Cups, not just individuals. You can be the best goalie in the world. If you don't have anybody to score at the other end, there's not much you can do, and really no difference in forwards. So, the Oilers team, we can make a conversation. If you look at this roster top to bottom today compared to the roster last year, are they better? It's close. I think they're different for sure. They're a little bit quicker. I think Murphy giving them a second top 4 right shot defenseman is a big add. Like Cody Ceci was pretty good in that role. I think people forget that in 2024. Ceci was pretty good, especially, Game 7, Cody Ceci, unbelievable. But, we'll see how the Oilers do starting tonight against the Ducks. I could be wrong in this, but I think the Ducks, this is like the best matchup the Oilers could have had. The Kings, the Kings will just suffocate you. They'll play patient, be boring-ass series. This series, I think, will be a little bit more entertaining, Brownie. And I'm not disrespecting Anaheim. I think they're a good team. I think they got lots of good pieces. I just don't think they're there yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, on paper, I would think that I wouldn't bet against Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl, but it is the playoffs, right? And it's a different beast. Those guys have a proven track record, but you never know how guys are going to react and how they're going to feel and how quickly they can maybe get their game and get some confidence. I think that's probably going to be a little bit of the key for the Oilers is, to get as many guys going and as many guys feeling good about their game, including the goaltending. And if they can get that and build that belief and also take that belief away from another team, obviously it's going to work out well for them, but they're there for a reason. I mean, this is the playoffs now. It's everything from the regular season is now kind of out the window. And it's amazing what the game at this time of the year will bring out in players and what they're willing to do. And we've already seen that a little bit in the games that we've already seen. So I expect Anaheim to go out there and, it'll be interesting to see how hard they make it, on the Oilers top players, and can the Oilers players make it hard on their top players?
Now, let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Center, located just on the south side of Edmonton. Great Summit restaurant inside, great place, 1,600-seat facility for curling, hockey, concerts, you name it. Eat well, watch well. That is Silent Ice Center, as we are joined by Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Woodley, how you doing, my man?
Good. I don't know if I'm just the big guest of the day because of everything I ate over the weekend, but it might be time to mix in a salad out here on the West Coast.
Oh, there you go, buddy. Hey, well, we can get into maybe what's causing indigestion for Vancouver fans. It might not just be the food, so we'll see. But
we could spend a lot of time on that, my friend.
Oh, could we? I know we've done this lots, and I know I read your breakdowns. It's great, but people who haven't, I really want to focus first of all on Dostal for the Oilers and how they attack. And really, it's not just when you attack the goalie, it's not just attacking the goalie, it's the team in front of him. And Anaheim has been a team that at times can be pretty leaky. They can have stretches where they're good, and then they have stretches where they're bad. It's a little bit of inexperience, I think. Joe Quenneville alluded to, he feels they give up too much off the rush. So break down for me the areas you feel Edmonton can exploit, not only the Ducks, but at the end result, the goaltender and Dostal.
Well, I think a lot of it is about what goes on in front of him. And to Quenneville's point, they do give up too much off the rush. It's why, when I look at the underlying numbers defensively, in addition to Dostal, I don't see them as a team that, you would traditionally earmark for playoff success. They just give up too many of those freebies, especially at 5-on-5. They're a bottom 5 team in the NHL in high danger expected goals, 5-on-5, expected goals against 5-on-5. So they trade chances. They have a ton of skill. But come playoff time, it's usually the teams that tighten up or that traditionally don't give up those types of chances that have success. Now, the caveat I will throw here, and I heard Sean just talking very wisely about how things can change come playoff time, is Montreal had the same underlying profile and didn't give up much at all to Tampa Bay in their first game. They were much better defensively. So sometimes it's, some of those habits that, drive coaches nuts during the season in terms of giving up rush chances, they have their attention come playoff time. And maybe, the risk reward airs a little more away from risk and the types of plays that lead to the odd man rushes that they give up way too much of during the regular season. Now, all that said, if they don't and they continue to give up those chances, it is all about making Lucas Dostal go east-west. If you saw the breakdown that I had, I mean, there were, to sort of go beyond the breakdown that was on NHL.com, there are only there are only two goalies in the league. He was third, that have seen more east-west slot line plays than Lucas Dostal. So again, a big part of this is the team. But the reality is, and this actually surprised me when I started doing the video. He didn't fare all that well on them. And I think of him as a guy who is a great skater. His patience on his edges and holding his edges is a hallmark of his success. And we've seen him have great success at times over the years. But on East-West plays this year, like, they account for 37% of the goals scored on him in my track sample. And that sort of matches the season as a whole. Down low, the tendency, so like, you can't necessarily dictate a lot of this. Like, it depends on what you're given, but on the power play, if you get them, this is where you can start to attack certain trends. Down low, I want him going right to left. There is a tendency on East-West plays down low to reach with that left pad rather than rotate and push across, and it limits his coverage. It exposes him. And that was, you saw that with a lot of tap-ins, like 15 goals outside the left skate. Again, really high. If you're up on the rush and you're going the other way, rush or in zone, and you're blasting away from above the hash marks after a lateral pass, I want him going the other way. I want him going left to right. There's a tendency there to not get good rotation with the shoulders. And so those one-timers, on anything up in the zone on a one-timer, should be aimed short side, because that lack of rotation doesn't give him access to the short side post. In other words, you can beat him with a one-timer to the short side post if he's going left to right high in the zone. So those are a couple of the trends that really stood out. But the overarching theme is, this is a team that gives up opportunities to go east-west off the rush. And then once you get into power plays where, the extra man gives you ability to find seams, again, they're too permissive, and there are specific ways you can attack it. And I would argue, when you've got the personnel they do, I think if Draisaitl's healthy down at the bottom of the left dot, like that's a nightmare scenario, because that targets his greatest weakness low, and it's something that Draisaitl does, a shot Draisaitl has in his bag, to a degree nobody else does.
So now you were saying, like, I got the down low, you should attack right to left, 15 goals by the left skate. And then it was more off the rush or one-timer. So even from, cross ice through the slot seam passes where you want to go from left side. So we're talking on the right side, which is obviously a one-timer for a lefty. So should Draisaitl's one-timer be upstairs or just over the pad?
Honestly, just over the pad's probably better. Okay. But from what we saw in the goal trends there, the nature of the power play and Draisaitl and everybody looking for it might get him cheating that way.
Right.
I mean, everyone in the league knows it's coming, so maybe you have to be better with that shot. But what we saw in the track trends was, like I said, a tendency to not get to the post. And you can actually beat him with anything, even along the ice. And again, this surprised me when I saw it. Now, the one tendency you want to look for if you're a shooter is goalies have sort of, as plays get in tight and closer and into more of a shot threat mentality, and you're holding the puck and you're looking past their shot, goalies have different tells in terms of when they get into their save stance. And as soon as you dig into your save stance, you become less mobile. In Dallas, we've talked a lot over the years about Jake Ottinger and his tendency, and a lot of goalies' tendencies, but Ottinger's is the most sort of abrupt or defined. He widens out his stance. He drops low and widens out his skates and his pads in a very notable and significant way. And it limits his mobility for a lot of different biomechanical reasons. Dostal is so good at keeping his skates underneath him that it's more subtle. He doesn't so much widen out as he sits. So a little tougher to see. It was really evident on the behind, a lot of the replays I watched from behind the net, which is the best way to watch a game. It's a little more subtle if you're facing him. But if you watch him sort of drop his butt, essentially, that's where you get a lot of that reaching rather than rotating and pushing on laterals. So if there's a sign, if you're coming down on him and you're thinking pass or shot and you see that sit, that's when you want to move it east-west, because he's still got his feet under him. He's still able to push. But just the very nature, and it would take me a couple minutes to explain the biomechanics of it, but the nature of that sit limits his ability to instantly push because he has to sort of pull away to get rotation first. It creates a lot of sort of the need to have a backward momentum build into your motion rather than just a top-down rotate and go. And it's a delay. And it's a delay that shows up in a lot of those goals I described on east-west plays.
Kevin, yeah, Kevin, I'm just curious, is there like a stat on, being able to, like, the second shot recovery? Basically, because I mean, playoffs, obviously, you're going to have both teams have multiple guys that are big that are going to get to the front of the net, and it's going to be a lot of probably dirty, greasy goals. Is there a stat that gives one goalie the advantage than the other as far as being able to scramble in those tight secondary shot situations?
Yeah, I mean, basically, yes. To go to the clear sight model, they would identify those second chances as either broken plays. So those are the ones that the goalie that don't make their way to the goalie, right? Like they hit a teammate or they hit something and they create a secondary scoring chance. Whereas a rebound, which they also track, at least it hits the goalie. So as a goaltender, if it hits me, I should have some idea where it's going next. That gives me an advantage. If it hits the guy screening me in front of me, I don't feel it. I have no idea where it's going. Visually, it's much harder to reattach to. And so they have different categories on those two things. The one part that's a little tougher to sort of vet through is how much of the rebounds are caused by the goalie in the first place. But I can tell you this, in both cases, Lucas Dostal is well above average. Rebounds and broken plays. Now, the other part of bodies to the net stereotypes that we get, the stereotypes because they're true, that is a weakness statistically relative to everything else, is screens. And that was in the NHL.com pre-scout. Like his screen goals are significantly below expected. His results on screens are below the league average. They're below my tracked average. It is what it is. He is not a huge goalie. Again, so even if he were to he holds his edges really well, but even if you get him in a tall stance, he's not able to look up and over traffic. That's just the reality. So he has to get into a little bit more of a low flex stance and try and look around traffic. Now, I don't think the Ducks do him a lot of favors in this regard, because again, we talk about discipline defensively. Their forwards, when they do block shots, often aren't in the right lane. So we've talked in the past about, hey, every system has a lane for the forwards and a lane for the goalies. Like, it can't just be chaos back there. Everybody try and figure it out as we go. Like, players, if they're supposed to flex out on a shot option, whether it's off the wing or up at the point, they're supposed to be in the middle lane so that the goalie can hold sight lines on the short side. And way too often when I was tracking the screen goals against him, his teammates were basically doubling the screen by being in the wrong lane, or standing right beside the guy in front of him and doubling the width of it. I will say Edmonton's defense is guilty of this as well, but not to the degree I saw in the Ducks numbers. And so when you add that to a goalie who already can't just stay high and tall and look over traffic, but has to battle back and forth to find a sight line, go around the bodies in front of him to find his sight lines, it just makes it really difficult. And what it quite often does is sort of force him, try and find sight of that puck, obviously off the release, but then you're just basically shifting into space. It's really hard to make a clean save behind those types of traffic at that size from that stance. And so anytime you're shifting into space, you're essentially becoming you're a blocking goalie, but you're not a drop and block goalie. You're trying to move you have an idea where it's headed, but you can't see the path all the way there. So you're trying to fill that space. And at his size, the reality is he's not going to be able to fill as much of the top of the net as other guys. And so add a little bit of a narrow butterfly base to that, and there's just not as much coverage. There's not as much square footage. And so when you look at his game, that's the one that isn't a surprise. The East-West stuff surprises me. That one is less of a surprise that he struggles there.
Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine, NHL.com joins us. Kev, what about Connor Ingram? You crunch all your numbers. If you're the Anaheim Ducks, how are you attacking him?
Well, interesting story, and I was so focused on Lucas for you guys that I didn't go back over my notes on Connor, and I have. We added Jesper Wallstead. That was a surprise start in the mini-series, so I've now seen close to 1,700 goals over the past week plus.
Nice.
The one thing I wrote about Connor is he really does have a balanced game. There's not a lot of extremes in his goal chart. High gloves, 15, I think it's the biggest number, but it's still below, what our tracked average is. And so, hit me's the wrong word, but I feel like he puts himself in a position because he's got good hands. He's got a reactive game to him. It's actually one of the things I really like, but he doesn't play to extremes. He doesn't take himself out of the net. He forces you to beat him with good shots. The one thing is on breakaways, you're looking against the grain and deeks. Those are one of the areas that are slightly above average. He has a tendency to get out, which is what you want to do. On a breakaway as a goaltender, the idea is to take ice early and then time your retreat to match the speed of the shooter. Ideal world, you want to be at or near the top of your crease. Some goalies want to be heels out. Some want to go toes in when the shooter reaches the hash marks. Some goalies want to have it exact. Like they want to be heels out on the edge of the crease, moving backwards when he hits the top hash and toes in by the time he hits the bottom hash. Now, obviously, you have to match speed to be able to do that. Ingram does it really well. But as he retreats, two things happen. One, he widens out in his stance. And so as you get lower and wider, the tendency is your body wants to hit the ice. You want to drop down. Now, he holds his edges pretty well, but that's where the fakes and the deeks, once you're that wide, you don't have as much power underneath you to go east-west. And so if you've got enough time to really stretch him wide and go around him, you can have success, with making moves and deeks, which is where he's more vulnerable. The second thing is if you come off the wing on that type of attack, that retreat, that out early and glide back is in a straight line, somewhat parallel to the goal line. So if you imagine as you get closer and deeper on that play, if you're sort of gliding back and widening out, you're not adjusting your angle. You're sort of staying flat is what we would call it to the goal line. And the deeper you get in zone, the sort of more that backside shoulder is off angle. It's not squaring up as you move. And so if you're a shooter and you're not looking at deke, or you've got a defenseman catching up to you down the middle and cutting off your lane, you want to look far side against the grain, just because, again, anytime we're not square on that coverage and we've let that backside shoulder get flat, that's when, even if you get a piece of it, pucks have a tendency to leak through you as anytime you're not square. So those are the two tendencies on breakaways. Rebounds, they tend to pop out quite a bit off his pads. Again, that's a trend with the Bauer pads. And then the last one, off the posts, attack from down low. It'll be interesting to see if the Ducks do this. They have the personnel, certainly. Make him work in and off the post. Again, it's not that he's bad at it. It's not like there's a technical flaw in his game. It's just he does like to get at least 2/3, 3/4 ice to give himself a chance, and it delays his ability to sort of get up off the goal line a little bit, can catch him moving, again, with against the grain stuff. And secondly, like he skates well, he moves well, but I don't know if I'd say he's explosive, right? Like he's got a really well-rounded game, but I'd probably be looking to make him move a little bit in and off those posts and just get him moving a little more. Because, like I said, when he's set, when he's square, I've been a fan throughout, right? We talked about this in the preseason. I said he had the most upside of anybody on the roster from their goaltending standpoint, and he's kind of made me look good for that. I like a lot about his game, but it's not one I would classify as dynamic or explosive necessary. And so again, east, west, down low, below the bottom of the circles, pop passes, things like that can catch him moving or maybe take advantage of a lack of that speed when he does.
Kev, great rundown, buddy. As always, we appreciate it. Enjoy the games, and we will talk to you again soon. Have an awesome Monday.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Enjoy tonight.
There you go. That is Kevin Woodley from InGoal Magazine and NHL.com. So really good rundown for both on Ingram and on the style. And I will say this, like when you have the scouting report, Brownie, like it's a lot more in depth now. And guys, like I remember a few years ago against Shilovs, they got a few games into this series and they just realized, guess what? We're getting pucks, high point shots through traffic. And they ended up scoring on a lot of them, right? He just wasn't good at picking up high screen shots. Like, because usually you're a defenseman, hey, keep it on the ice. You want deflections. But they were purposely shooting higher from the blue line. And it worked for the Oilers as that series went along. So in the past, you do a great job of breaking down. And when you have skilled players, they know, hey, if I'm coming in, let's attack certain area of the ice. If we can get them to go left to right. And it'll be interesting to watch the power play. Now that Draisaitl's come back. I know the power play had a little bit dip there early. Then it kind of came back again the last few games. But with Draisaitl coming back in, you know he's a threat on the right side on the one-timer. And if you can go left to right in the zone, that's an advantage. So in theory, that should work out well for the Oilers. We'll see kind of how it goes. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. And, man, there's more playoffs in every sport. We'll talk about it. Next, a team that – is it too early to say must-win game after only game 2? Well, it might be, but we'll discuss it anyway on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You got it. Go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Noodle, 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 noods. Noodle, 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 noods. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Throw a load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge, and this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a park view rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
You matter. Your mental health matters. And you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notalonecode.com. It's okay to not be okay.
This May, look for your census letter in the mail. The information you provide helps plan services in your community that support employment, transit, education, healthcare, and more. It's easy to fill out and completely confidential. Find out more at census.gc.ca. Your census, your community, our future. A message from the Government of Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.248, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. It's playoff hockey, baby. 4 games tonight, of course. The Oilers will be the last one. I know people are like, why are the Oilers start other teams that play 2 games? Yeah, it's called time zone. Okay? Yeah, they're playing game 2 in the same night that Edmonton's playing game 1. They weren't going to make Edmonton play on Saturday, 2 days after the season began. And then they couldn't play 5 games on Sunday. How is this a negative? I don't see any reason to be concerned about this as an Oilers fan. I know, FYI, this is the 3rd year in a row the Oilers have started the playoffs on Monday. Not a big deal at all. Not a big deal whatsoever. They don't play back-to-back. They don't have long breaks. They play every second day. It's a pretty good schedule. Let's get to our NBA report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC. Look, it's 20 degrees out there. Don't wait until it's 30. Get some AC now, legacyheating.ca. And, of course, playoffs in the NHL have begun. Playoffs in the NBA also underway. In Game 2 tonight, the Toronto Raptors, who kind of got spanked in Game 1 in Cleveland, need a better effort, as Paul Sir, host of Hoop City, joins us. And Paul, what did you see in Game 1, the areas where Toronto has to clearly be better tonight in Game 2?
I think it's in one word, everything. They weren't particularly good at anything. I didn't think defensively they found nothing that could deal with either Mitchell or Harden, and the way that Harden got so much out of his bigs, he made Jared Allen look like he was all NBA. I think the Raptors looked a little discombobulated, a little and maybe just not ready for the moment. But the first thing they have to figure out is how to somehow slow Donovan Mitchell down. And I won't even say James Harden. I'm thinking Donovan Mitchell, because at 6'3", as great as Mitchell is, and he is a bull as well as being a very skilled player, the Raptors have to use what they've invested so heavily in, Jason and Sean, and that is their length. That's their advantage. And they didn't look like they had any advantage with that length, with Scotty Barnes, for instance, being able to slow Mitchell down. So it's going to have to be individual defense and team defense. And then offensively, they're just going to have to be more decisive, and their better players, particularly quickly, are going to have to be much better tonight.
I was reading a stat there that Brandon Ingram only took 9 shots. Is that, you talk about making it, playing in the NHL and playing in the playoffs and how important it is to make it hard for their stars. Was it something that they did to him, or was he doing enough to kind of get open and put himself in better positions?
It's a great observation, Sean, and I think it's a combination of both. Evan Mobley, who was primarily responsible for guarding Ingram, is the reigning defensive player of the year. So he can really guard. But Ingram, you can't make any excuses for getting 9 shots off. That means you're not being aggressive. That means you're not trying to find ways to score enough. And that's where I thought the Raptors really struggled the other night, is that they were not decisive. They were not insistent. They were not the ones trying to find ways to impose their will on the Cavs. And it was exactly the opposite for Cleveland. They got the upper hand, they put their foot on the gas, and they just kept pushing the Raptors back on their heels. So it's a great observation. They need a lot more out of Ingram tonight. He has to be a 15 to 20 shot a game guy, unless somebody else is really hot. But you've got to get 15 to 20 shots out of Ingram, and of course he has to hit a reasonable percentage. You can't have a guy that averages 23 through the year be that kind of a ghost in a game like that.
Yeah, it was very noticeable, and there's almost times that he looked hesitant to want to shoot the ball. And in the playoffs, if you hesitate, it's pretty much that simple. Looking at a few of the other matchups, what do you make of that Lakers-Rockets game? And the Lakers coming away with the one.
I have a picture of this like war painting of all the injured lying around the flag up in the middle, and the survivors are trying to find a way to survive. But to have, almost 100 points, or maybe that's a bit much, but like 80 points out between Luka, Reeves, and Kevin Durant out of it. I mean, that's a lot of offense for both teams to try to replace. The other night, Luke Kennard and, of all people, DeAndre Ayton were high-impact offensive players, and that's what the Lakers need. Now, Kennard's a good player. He can score. He's crafty. He's always in a role play situation, and now with Austin and Luka out, he has to be more of an impact player, and he certainly was the other night with 27. So they're going to need other players like Luke, like Ayton, continuing to be aggressive, complete opposite of what we saw from Ingram, and then Rui Hachimura, along, of course, with LeBron James. But they were ready, where Houston, I don't know where they're going to get their offense from. Sengun is a great player, but if they don't have people being able to score, trying to free up some space for him, the Lakers are going to be able to help on him a lot and really frustrate his game. And Amen Thompson is a phenomenal defender, and he's a great north-south scorer, but he's not going to go out there. He's capable of getting 41, but he usually is getting 41 because Kevin Durant's on the floor. His game isn't the kind of creative game where he's shooting lots of pull-ups, he's catching and shooting from the three, that sort of thing. He's a north-south attack the rim kind of guy. So it is interesting to see how the Rockets struggled to score the other night, and of course that's what they're going to have to adjust against the Lakers, and the Lakers are going to have to get productivity out of players not named Reeves or Doncic.
Well, the opening night, there was a few blowouts, no surprise. The Celtics spanked the 76ers. The Thunder win by 35 over the Suns. Like, if you could finish it, like Daryl Sutter had that great line, it was a waste of 8 days. And some of these series, it's kind of what it looks like. Now, the Spurs did only win by only 13, but even that one, I just don't – there's some matchups here where I don't see it. Now, the one upset, though, was the number 8 Magic over the Pistons. The Pistons have somehow lost 11 consecutive home games in the playoffs. Now, this dates back over lots of guys on this team weren't there, but still, that is an amazing stat by one organization to lose 11 straight at home. What did you make of the Magic? Because the thing about the Magic is they kind of looked like they took a step back. Oh, my God, now they're going to be out of the playoffs. They win the second play-in game, and then they go into Detroit and play great and win.
It's one of those things that you don't want to. This is where the cautionary tale comes in. How much can you read into this? Now, the Magic struggled to get to Charlotte, and then they decimated Charlotte, and then they really handled Detroit. Detroit was never in control of that game or even close to it. The Magic have underperformed all year. Everybody agrees with that. The Magic have a lot of talent. Everybody agrees with that. The key with the Magic, though, is injuries affected this season. And to have Wagner back with, I just love saying Wagner. It's like I can speak a second language. But if Wagner's back and he's paired up with an aggressive Banchero, who is very good, by the way, when he's dialed in and his head's right, he's a beast. And he was the other night. What surprised me the most about that game is they out-toughed the Pistons, whose whole MO this entire season was they're going to out-tough you, kind of like that carryover from the 80s Pistons teams. Last night, they got beat at their own game. So now we'll see whether or not Detroit is able, A, to respond and adjust, and B, are we seeing an aberration with the Magic, or has the talent that the Magic actually possess started to gel when playoff time arrives?
Yeah. Well, I look at the Thunder, man. They're good. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he didn't even play 30 minutes in the game, right? Like this is like fatigue won't be an issue for that team at all. And you get through the first round, you kind of just relax. You look at the Nuggets; they had a big win over the the Timberwolves. You look at the games tonight, and like, do you think Detroit's in trouble, or is that just a one-off game, and you expect them to get back on track?
I expect them to get back on track, but the thing we're dealing with Detroit too, guys, is they don't have a playoff track record. 2 years ago, they were the worst team in the NBA. They had a miraculous turnaround last year and a marvelous regular season this year, but they haven't proven anything in the playoffs. And as you know all too well, the real teams show up at playoff time. And now we'll see if they're the real team. There's a lot. The roadside is littered with white crosses of teams that had great regular seasons and tailspin in the playoffs. And that's what we're going to find out. And we're going to find out a lot of answers to those questions in games like Orlando and Detroit and Houston and the Lakers, because both have a lot to, all teams have a lot to prove. But in the case of some of those teams, they haven't proven anything ever in the playoffs in recent memory. So it's going to be really interesting.
Paul Sir joins us here talking NBA, of course. Their games, just like the NHL going tonight, the Toronto Raptors in a, I don't know about must win, but pretty darn close. They got to have a much better game tonight for sure. Lastly, the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, like Anthony Edwards. If your Timberwolves are gonna win over the Nuggets, how do they do it?
Well, they need a cryogenic medicine healer to come in and fix Anthony, because he's not himself. 70. I don't think the Wolves can win with an Anthony Edwards that has to play at 70%. He had 22 the other night, but he labored. And the Nuggets, when Jokic and Murray are playing as well as they are and getting great contributions from the supporting cast, they're going to be awfully tough to beat, especially like Jokic had 4 points in the first half, ended up with 25 and 1 million assists and 1 million rebounds. Like, the guy just wills his team to victory in the way he and Murray, who it's exciting to see is up now for Clutch Player of the Year. I think we have 2 Canadians up for Clutch Player of the Year in the NBA. I think that, with Murray, you've got somebody who has completely grown into an all NBA level of play. So I look for it to be really tough for the Wolves to be able to handle Denver over this series. The Denver has a lot to prove. They've got a grudge, but if Edwards' health were to improve, if he is healing and he gets back to close to normal, we might have a different conversation. But from what I saw the other night, I don't think that the Wolves have enough in the chamber to be able to compete with a hungry Nuggets team.
Paul, great stuff, buddy. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the week. We'll talk again soon.
Really nice to see you guys. Thanks, Jason and Sean. Enjoy the hockey playoffs. Not that that needs to be said.
There you go. It's Paul Sir, host of Hoop City, every Saturday morning here on Sports 1440, former pro player and coach in Europe for many years, knows the hoop game very, very well. We'll return. We'll get back on. We got lots to talk about the Edmonton Oilers. We're going to hear from some of the players on both sides coming up. We got Craig Button, Steve Carroll. We'll get some stats of the day and more. But first, let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by GoAuto.ca. Not only have they a lot of cars for you to choose from, they also donate a lot of money, over $27 million back in the communities where they work. Cared about the community, GoAuto.ca.
Finally here, Game 1, Ducks Oilers from Rogers Place. Puck drop about 8:20. Our pregame coverage coming your way 6 o'clock with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson starting at 6. Elsewhere, the Philadelphia Flyers will look to take a 2-0 series lead over the Penguins at 5. At 5:30, Carolina taking on the Sens, leading 1-9. And then at 7:30, it'll be the Stars trying to even up their series with the Minnesota Wild. In the association, more playoffs, Cavs Raptors from Cleveland tip off at 5 o'clock. Cavs leading 1-0. Later on, you got the Knicks and the Hawks from New York. And then at 8:30, the Nuggets taking on the Timberwolves. Denver leads that series 1-0 as well. In the majors, Toronto kicking off a series up against the Angels. First pitch set for 7:38. You also got the Athletics and the Mariners, Rockies, Dodgers, Cubs, Phillies, Orioles, and Kansas City. And the Rays taking on the Reds. Earlier today, Red Sox over the Tigers by a score of 8-6.
Talks about, man, the playoffs.
Gregor Show. We'll get to 5 questions and be joined by Craig Button from the NHL on TSN. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lottery, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
At Booster Juice, doing good tastes really good too. From now until April 26th, every purchase of a Mood Booster Ball will help support the Community Booster Fund. So while you're enjoying a Mood Booster Ball made with caramel, marshmallows, and peanut butter, you're also supporting athletics, community, and educational initiatives across Canada. Let's fuel healthy communities together. For more information, please visit boosterjuice.com. Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Need a new
Day
ride for
af-
road trips, errands, or just life on the go?
Afternoon. How are
Go
you?
Auto offers
Day
a massive
afternoon.
selection.
How are
with over
you? And welcome.
15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at
Connor Halley,
goauto.ca.
As we all try to figure out when winter will actually stop and spring will finally be here for the season, GS Construction moves ahead with their plans for the year. From planning and digging to laying out underground infrastructure, construction season is limited, so we make every day count. And that's why GS Construction counts on our team to get the job done right. Crews are getting back in action across the city, and we'd like you to join us. We're looking for experienced top men, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
We'll talk again
For the first time
You
in
guys,
66
thanks, Jason and
years,
Sean.
Golden Bears and Pandas hockey are on the move. During the 2026-27 Canada West season, 2 of the most successful hockey programs in U Sports history will call Silent Ice Center in Nisku their temporary home. The Golden Bears and Pandas are excited to connect with the South Edmonton community and welcome new fans to experience the tradition and excitement of U of A hockey. Same tradition, new temporary home. Golden Bears and Pandas hockey at Silent Ice Center for the 26-27 season.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Jacob.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Something's happening. Something big. The Service Big Share Contest is back, where just by saving money with Service Credit Union, you could win $1 million. From now until the end of April, the more money you save with us, the more chances you have to win. The Service Big Share Contest. Isn't it time to feel good about your money? The Service Big Share Contest ends April 30th, 2026. No purchase required. For information and rules, visit service.ca/win.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Welcome back as we continue on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It's the Gregor Show presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. So even if you lose, you win. playalberta.ca. And hey, you know what? Today we're going a little bit more specific in some of our odds boosts on the Jason Gregor Show. So thinking that the Oilers are going to score 4 goals and the Ducks are only going to score 2. So have a combo of Distel allowing more than 3.5 goals, Ingram under 2.5 goals against. So see if that one holds up. A lot of action on that. PlayAlberta.ca. As the Oilers start their quest, the 2026 Stanley Cup tonight against the Ducks. Lineup I'm pretty confident in will be a lineup that you have never seen all 18 skaters and the starting goalie in the same lineup this year. We had the 18 skaters, but we had Tristan Jarry. The 18 skaters only played one game together. That was against Carolina. Jarry started. It's the only game. But it looks like now the line combinations were different then. But tonight, it's looking like McDavid, Hyman, Savoy, Draisaitl back in with Kapanen and Podkolzin. Dickinson back in with Nugent, Hopkins, and Roslovic. Henrique between Doc and Frederick. Back end, Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Murphy, Wallman, Emberson, and Connor Ingram will get the start in goal. Meanwhile, the Anaheim Ducks, Frank Vetrano is going to be a healthy scratch tonight for Anaheim. Also, Zellweger is out, and Tyson Hines is going to play again on the back end. So they'll run Carlson with Kreider and Terry, Granlund with Seneke and Killorn, Ryan Poling with Cutter Gauthier and Mason McTavish, Tim Washy with Ian Moore and Jeffrey Vial. On the back end, Lacombe and Trouba, Minchakov and Carlson, and then the Hines and Gudis, and of course, Dostal will get the start in goal. We are coming to you live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street, your place to watch the game tonight. You want to get in on the happy hour specials before the game. Obviously, there's specials throughout the night and $3 hot dogs tonight. Ooh, check it out at OTR Jasper Ave and 118th Street. We got a lot of text to get to. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, I don't know about anybody else. I just can't get up for the series. Maybe it's because I went to Florida for 2 Stanley Cups and saw the Jays in the World Series. Maybe I have championship fatigue. Mike. Well, it's kind of an odd one. I would say, I guarantee you, once you watch the games, that'll change. You kind of, you remember what it was like, you think, but then all of a sudden you see playoff. The first period of every playoff series is wild. I love it. The first few shifts, somebody comes in, Doc or Frederick are going to get a hit, or Hyman, and the crowd's going to go nuts, way more than you would in the regular season, and then it's on. And Brownie, I know you played in that, and just like that, hey, you get excited, you're a professional, you want to play, but playoffs, it's just different, man. Like every guy is amped up, and guys who normally don't hit are suddenly hitting, and you block a shot, the crowd goes crazy. Like every little detail is magnified.
Yeah, the guys, the crowd goes crazy. The guys go crazy. I think back to the time that I got in the series against Dallas, and just even walking out of the dressing room for the warm up was just electric. You remember the old, what was it, the Molson bar? There was a bar on the right-hand side there.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where a lot of the fans would kind of hang out and get their drink on and stuff. But this was warm up, and I'm walking out there, and I have never felt anything like that. Just the buzz, the excitement. And then obviously, going out, through the tunnel there, it was just, I wish everyone could feel that feeling. And it's amazing. That text, I'm not sure. I can't relate to that. I'm excited for me. Obviously the NHL playoffs, having played the game and just, the investment that I have in that. But, I think whether it's football, baseball, I love playoff sports. And for us, I think, being cooped up in our houses for so long over the winter, and now that the weather's getting nice and patios are buzzing and, everyone's starting to feel good about themselves. I'm excited for Edmonton. I'm excited for the people of Edmonton. Just working with a lot of kids, through hockey and hockey camps and stuff, everyone's talking about it. There's a real buzz. Everyone's excited to, whether you're able to go to a game or go to a watch party or get together with some buddies. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah. It was funny. Jacob Trouba was having a real good laugh today because they were asking him, like, he's obviously one of the veteran guys. Like, they've got Kreider and you got Trouba and Ratko Gudas and Michael Granlund, guys who've, lots of them have played significant amount of playoff games over their career. But Trouba played his first playoff game in 2015 as a member of the Jets, and they were actually taking on the Anaheim Ducks. And that was in the, the Getz laugh, the Perry, like they had big, back when Anaheim and San Jose and LA, like they were all big. And Trouba, who's a pretty big dude, right? Physical defenseman. And he was kind of laughing. He's like, oh my God, man, like I could barely get off the ice to change. It was relentless pressure. And he said, like, even though you're just getting smacked around, he said, like the intensity, like everyone had told you, okay, you know what, it picks up. And I'd convince myself, okay, yeah, I'm ready for it. It picks up. And he said, but dude, it was way more than I even expected. And he said, it takes you a while just to kind of get your bearings where you feel like, okay, now he said it might have been different if we weren't the team just getting punched and punched and punched, right? So I look at it tonight and he talked about like, hey, I'm here to play too. Like I got to get myself up. It's not like Trouba can go around and hold Jackson Lacombe hand and come off the bench and talk to Carlson and all these other guys. Like there's no time. The only way to get that experience and to adapt to the pace of the game is to have to live it as a player. And I thought it was very interesting how he said, like, you have veterans and, guys can talk to tell you're blue in the face, but to experience it is totally different. And some guys will have it, less than more. And I look at Edmonton, like Matt Savoy, Colton Dock, both of them. Like Dock, who's a very physical player, sometimes I think it's harder for those guys because they're naturally physical, so they're naturally amped up. Now you get amped up even more, Brownie. We saw it in Tampa Bay yesterday. They took too many stupid penalties in the offensive zone, and they're a team that's got a boatload of experienced players, and they still took a lot of dumb penalties. So I'm kind of curious how a guy like Colton Dock, who has been very good, very aggressive, very tenacious, how can you rein in your emotions?
Yeah, I think it's very tricky. Obviously Colton's played, a lot of hockey, and he's been in a lot of games. Nothing obviously, as big as an NHL playoff game, but he has played in big games in minor hockey Alberta. So you're trying to draw on all the experiences that you've had, number one. And then number two, it's not like the playoffs just came out of nowhere. I mean, a lot of it too is, leading up to it is you're building up, you're preparing, obviously your practice habits, your routine is very important because as big as the game is, it is another game and you have to get yourself up and excited, but you don't, you got to be careful that you don't over peak either, right? You can have, we've all done that before where you have like an energy dump, right? You're all excited, buzzing, ready to go, and the puck drops and you're just like, man, I left all my energy in the dressing room or at home. But all that comes through kind of, all the different big game moments and situations that you've played on, and you've kind of, developed a routine, a recipe that kind of gives you the best chance to kind of be successful. But a lot of it, is drawn from the past, but a lot of it, is those practice habits and all the things leading up to this that guys would have been dialing in on their game, whether it's on the ice, off the ice, so that when you get in this situation, it's not so overwhelming, because you do. I mean, I think whether you're Connor McDavid or you're any type of player or a physical player, I mean, whether you get hit or you can get a hit, I think that's just important, whatever order it comes in, right? That just emotionally just kind of relaxes you, kind of gets you into it, gets you feeling for it. Because, the fans are they're going to be buzzing as soon as that puck drops. I see a guy like Kapanen, who's kind of
Vegas game last year.
I bet you he'll come out like a shot out of a cannon, right? He's going to get a big hit. He's going to get into it. Actually, I take that back. McDavid, McDavid is a physical player too. And there's no one, for me that that guy invests himself as soon as that puck drops, as soon as he gets out on the warm up, like he's running out of that tunnel, he does a couple hard laps. Like that guy to me, is going to just dictate and drag everyone into this.
Would you start McDavid's line because of that and Hyman? Or would you start the Frederick Dock line because they've been so good at getting energy early in games?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think I would just go with McDavid. I think ultimately I'd want McDavid feeling good and getting going more so than any other line. So, I think if they did, no matter which way you did it, I don't think you could, there would be an argument to both. But I want the best player in the world, best player in the game, and my leader. I want him going, right? And just like Brady Tkachuk, he's not necessarily going to ask someone to fight, right? McDavid has his own way of kind of dragging guys into it, right? With his play, his his skill, and then obviously he's a lot more physical than maybe a lot of us give him credit for. And I bet you he might be one of the guys that will step up right away and set the tone in a physical.
Probably right. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, what do you think this year's team has that the last two have in order to finally win? Is it simply that the Panthers aren't in it? From Mark. Oh no, I don't think that's it at all. Like, there's some good teams, man. Colorado's really good. I think Tampa Bay is good. Minnesota looks good. Dallas, it's only one game. I wouldn't count them out. I think there's some top teams. Buffalo around. I don't know. Like the Oilers, hey, like those teams are really good to get the Stanley Cup final. And like they walked through Vegas and Dallas last year. Walked through them. Those, like, it was 4-1 in both series. But Edmonton was really never in trouble in either one. If I look at this year's team, how it's different, I think having a second pair right shot defenseman is something they didn't have last year. I think that's a help. Just Murphy's more naturally comfortable on that side. Matthias Ekholm's healthy. So that's two of your top four D-men that's different than last year, right? Because Kulak was playing up, and I like Brett Kulak, don't get me wrong, but you didn't have Ekholm for the first 3 rounds. And then when he came back, he obviously hadn't played, wasn't the guy that you had hoped. So that's different. Then you got Savoy and Roslovic up front. You got Doc up front. You got a healthy Frederick up front, Dickinson. So there's some new faces. I think Edmonton's overall team is quicker. And I actually think, and then Doc, of course, they're a little bit more physical, top to bottom, a little bit bigger. And so I like that. And obviously, you know what? Like they're not old. They're more, like they're actually younger because there's no Corey Perry this year. So, like Adam Henrique's their oldest guy, but he's quite a bit younger than Perry. And he's not like Perry played really well early on. I thought as the playoffs went along, his foot speed became a little bit of a detriment. 5-on-5 power play was always fine. But that's what I see as difference. I think the team's a little bit quicker. I think because of the addition of Dickinson, they now have a legit third-line center who they can put out in any defensive situation, feel confident about.
Gregor, who do you think? I mean, the superstars have to be the superstars, but there's always someone that kind of steps up and kind of, it comes out of nowhere. Who do you see in the Oilers lineup? Is that for you? Is it, do you see like a Savoy, a Roslovic, or maybe even we've talked about Doc a lot? Is there a player that you kind of think, okay, here, this is going to be someone that this guy's going to come out here?
Well, actually, I think I'm going to go with the second defense pair. I think that's the key for the Edmonton Oilers because, those two guys, Murphy and Nurse, are going to play more minutes than pretty much every forward except Draisaitl, McDavid, and maybe Hyman, right? So they're going to have the opportunity to impact the game more. And Edmonton can score. I've never really doubted they can score. If they get more where they're limiting goals against, and really Murphy and Nurse have been great. Like they had that stretch of bad luck where they have 5 straight games where they had an own goal go in off of them. But I think they've defended really hard. That adds to it. So I'm going to say them defensively. And then up front, I think Podkolzin's going to have a good playoffs.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, he's built for playoff hockey, just the way he is and how heavy he plays. And, he's definitely not a guy being a defenseman. That guy would not be fun to play against. And now they got, like, if you look at their lines, like every line has someone that you're kind of like, man, you got to be aware of who's on the ice. Like they could hurt you. They're physical.
Well, same with Gudas, right? Like that's we get a lot of texts. Are you worried about Gudas? I'm not really worried about him. You got to be aware when he's on the ice. No question. You just have to be. And so, you know what? You don't get caught in the trolley tracks. It's just kind of that simple is the way I would look at it. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Craig Button is going to join us. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, live and on the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street, your place to watch the game and all the playoff games. Jasper Ave and 118th. It's Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell, and we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me, GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or business online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Hold on to your hockey helmets, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 69-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadian and $75 plus OTR's TVs are so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? Score and win every game night during Edmonton's playoff run with specials starting 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksYEG.com.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And directional drilling, hydrovacing, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Hi, I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. We've been tightening bolts and redefining our industry for 25 years. Yes, a quarter century, and we're just getting started. Check us out at cantork.com. Our tools age better than I do.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
328. Welcome back. It is game day. If you're an NHL fan, 4 playoff games tonight. You got 3 in the NBA. There is nothing better. Of course, you got WHL playoffs continuing on. They're getting down into it's a little bit more serious now and getting in the third round there in the WHL. So lots and lots of fun. BCHL action going on. Good luck to the Crusaders. So it's a great time of year for sure. We're live at OTR, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street, where hey, tonight, if you've been here before, you know the routine. It's great hot dogs on special tonight. You got highballs, $5.25 all night long. So check it out, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. It's time now to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. 53 years. They've become one of the most diversified electrical contractors in the province, and huge hockey fans. They're saying go Oilers go at actionelectrical.net. As we welcome in former NHL general manager and scout, Stanley Cup winner, ace analyst, scout for TSN, Craig Button joins us. And Craig, we got to talk about your former team off the hop here. I know it's only one game, but I'll be honest, I was a little surprised at how much Minnesota kind of manhandled Dallas in that game. What do you feel the Stars have to do different to have a better result?
I worked for Minnesota too before they became Dallas. So can I lose in this series, Jason? I might have. Yeah, it's interesting because in my little fun thing that we do prior to the playoff, I picked Minnesota to beat Dallas. And I'll tell you why I picked Minnesota to beat Dallas, for exactly what you just said. I think they're bigger, stronger, heavier, harder, and I think Dallas is a little too light. And I think that Minnesota came out and they played that way right from the get-go. And do I think every game's going to be 5-1? I know it was an empty net goal, but I just think that the way that the Minnesota Wild play and the additions they made, I'm not talking about the Quinn Hughes thing. I'm talking about Nick Foligno and Mike McKinnon. Bill Guerin looked at it and he said, this is what we need to be competitive in the Western Conference. And they've been a really good team. And I think that going into Dallas, I think that they showed what they're going to do. And now it's up to Dallas to try to withstand it. But look at their forward group. The forward group isn't heavy. They're not big. And I think they have real problems when you get to the bottom pair defense. And so, you get leaned on and it's one shift after another shift. And what Billy has done, you got the two Felinos and McCarron. They're coming out on the fourth line. Where's your chance to get a little bit of a breath, even just a mental breath? You don't get it. I think there's another factor here. I think Billy has put it right on the team. Hey, listen, haven't won a playoff series since 2015. Yep. It's not like Billy is sitting there saying, "Hey, you better go out and win," but. I think it's put up or shut up time for the Minnesota Wild, and I think they feel that. I think they feel an opportunity. I don't look at it as pressure, but I see them looking at it as an opportunity to say, hey, we're not just going to be another game on the schedule and get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs.
Hey, Craig, do you any concerns with Ottinger, the goaltending? Does Gulletson have to make a decision, or is it just one game? Just kind of let it play out a little bit. What are your thoughts?
Sean, I was chuckling, and I wasn't chuckling in any way, but Jake Ottinger is a really good goaltender. But you look at his record of game ones and falling behind, and I'm thinking to that game one because there has been so much talk about his last game in the playoffs last year, and not that Peter DeBoer relishes in seeing anybody fall short, but Peter was none too happy with him in Game 6 last year when they got knocked out of the playoffs. And Jake is capable, and we know that he is. And he's going to fight this now, Sean, for a long time until he shows that he can get past these question marks, because that's what they are right now with Jake. And then Western Conference Finals, we know what he's done, but he's hit that roadblock and not got past it. And I think that for him, we talked about the Minnesota Wild. I think there's also a put up or shut up time for Jake Ottinger.
Oh yeah, I think that's totally fair for them. He's got to be better. I like that game for Minnesota. Their top guys all got some confidence. They scored. They were physical. And now, hey, no Rupe Hintz is a big blow for the Dallas Stars. And I don't know how healthy Heiskanen is. I'm guessing he's not fully healthy. And sometimes if you're only 5% difference in the playoffs, that's massive. So a huge game for those guys tonight. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia.
Can I just go back to that though, Jason?
Yeah.
You lose Rupert Hintz. You got two teams that are pretty even, right?
Yes.
And so we look at the margin. So now Rupert Hintz is out. What Heiskanen, is he 100%? And like what can he manage to do? And the other thing that's happened in Dallas, Thomas Harley has not had a good season in Dallas.
Yeah.
And Thomas Harley was awful in game one. So in the app, like Thomas Harley is capable of doing a lot more. And I think that he's got to get his game up. Certainly players, being asked to do a little bit more in the absence of Rupert Hintz. There has to be a step up here in terms of players being able to give a little bit more, considering where the Stars find them. Anyway, I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. And I love it. Now, hey, young rookies, I never have much expectations. I like to temper my expectations for young players. And Martone comes out, and you're like, okay, good guy comes out of college. Oh, point-a-game player. Well, that's not bad. Boom, first playoff game, ends up scoring the game-winning goal. Like, he has been a massive addition for the Flyers. You throw in Forster, and you're thinking, hey, like they're up 1-0 on the road against the Penguins. There wasn't a ton of shots in that. And really, I know Stu Skinner, like Pittsburgh gave up a few breakaways. He made some breakaway saves. Like, I thought the Flyers will full marks for their win. Pittsburgh's top guys got to be way better in game two.
If you listen, it would have been 5-0 after the first period if it wasn't for Stuart Skinner. I thought he was outstanding in that game. I mean, he was the only reason that they had a chance to be in the game. It was 1-1, and they fell behind. So I thought Travis Sanheim was absolutely a monster, and he went right after Crosby. He was in Crosby's kitchen the whole night. He didn't give him 1 inch or give him 1 second. He knew what the task was. And even near the end of the game, the last minute, I mean, him and Crosby went after, kind of was frustrated, and they both went off. Which, you ask yourself, is that better for Philadelphia or better for Pittsburgh? The way Crosby was playing to get Sanheim off the ice, I think it was better for Pittsburgh in that regard. But him and Rasmus Ristolainen's first playoff game in his career, think about that. I thought they were monsters back there. They leaned in, they played hard, and they were battling that top line and not giving them anything. So I thought they were terrific. Having watched Porter for a number of years, and I'm going to make this statement here and now. I think players like Porter Martone, that I personally believe that if you're 19 years old and you can't play in the NHL, that the American Hockey League is a harder league to play in for a variety of reasons. But if you've been so good in junior, go play college hockey. It allows you to mature with less games. It allows you to physically mature and to really get into in-season training in there. And I think there's a natural maturity. And I think you see that with Porter Martone. I'm the same with that level of player. The player that is outperformed junior hockey, and now we can go mature. I think it's really hard to physically mature and to get yourself into that physical part of developing and strengthening when you're playing 72 and 74 games and 76 games in the American Hockey League. The travel, the opportunity to mature in so many different ways in college hockey. And I watched Porter, and I think that was such an unbelievable opportunity for him to go to Michigan State and then be ready to turn pro. You might see the same thing with Michael Hage next year, because I don't think Michael Hage was ready for the NHL this year, but just another year, this physical maturity and everything that goes with it will help him. But Rick Tocchet, I mean, he when Porter came in, Rick didn't just put him on the end of the bench. He said, "You're playing." And he's put him on the power play. He's put him in front of the net in the bumper. He's been really good. And, the coach has helped Porter, I think, come in and gain confidence as time has gone on. He's been a good player.
Craig, what are your thoughts? Obviously, it's game one tonight. What type of series are you expecting between Anaheim and the Oilers?
I think the Oilers are primed. I've said this, Sean, that I think that this is a really ideal matchup for the Oilers, and I'll tell you why. Number one is the Ducks are a poor defensive team. They're poor. They're one of the worst in the league. And you got the Edmonton Oilers, who are the best offensive team, so good in so many different areas. The power play, which is terrific. So I think that really works for the Edmonton Oilers. Get going, get their feet wet. But the second part of this is because of the way the Ducks play, it's going to force the Edmonton Oilers to pay attention to defense. And I think that by paying attention to their defensive play and being really zeroed in on that, they'll show themselves that, hey, listen, we can stymie another team and we're going to still get our offense. And that's why I think Anaheim is the perfect. I'll call them the perfect foil in the first round.
Yep.
Like I don't think Anaheim should threaten. Threaten when I say I don't think they can beat Edmonton 4 games. And I think for Edmonton to get that build going now, I think it's really set up nicely for them. And obviously you're getting some players back that have been injured, and I think that really helps. And the third thing is Leon Draisaitl. I don't think you have to rush him back here. Because if he's ready and you think he can play, but if he's got to wait, that's okay too because of your opponent.
Yeah, well, he's going to play tonight, Craig. I'm very confident of that, and I think he's good. Watching him, he's really put himself through the paces to get his cardio back to where he wants it to be. I agree with you. It's no offense to the Ducks. I think Anaheim, the future is really bright for them. But the future might take 3 or 4 years. The future doesn't mean next year. I think sometimes people get that misconstrued. McDavid and Draisaitl won 1 playoff round in their first 6 seasons in the NHL. It's hard. You can make the playoffs. They made it 3 times, but they only won 1 round. It's a process. And so, but I was in that Ducks room today, Craig, and my God, Cutter Gauthier and Carlson, and they are a big team. And down the road, man, I think they're gonna be a handful for a lot. But I want to get your thoughts on maybe one little surprise for a guy who got called up, and he admitted it today. Tyson Hines, he was like, man, I wasn't expecting the call up. He gets recalled. He thought he was just going to be in the minors again, and he's being recalled, and he's taking Zellweger's spot on the blue line. The coach, Quenneville's really liked him. I know he's a third-pair guy in Anaheim, and not saying he's going to be a difference maker at all, but here's a guy who got an opportunity now and has really ran with it on their defense.
Yeah, well, and I think that Zellweger's a little bit of not a little bit. He's a very different defenseman than Tyson Hines. And
yes,
when Joel talks about Tyson, I think what he's setting that up for is, hey, listen, we're going to have to defend hard. We're going to have to take space away. We're going to have to make sure that we're up on the play. Tyson's a real smart player, and he is exactly what he is. He's a defensive defenseman. He's going to move the puck quickly. He's going to compete. He's going to make sure that he's in good positioning. He's going to make you earn things. And obviously, you're young and you're trying to get your feet wet. But Joel knows how to get players into the right spots, and I think that'll help Tyson. But clearly, they're looking for a different type of defenseman to play in that spot rather than somebody, because offense isn't their issue. They don't need, I'm not here to knock Owen Zellweger. I think he's a really good player, but they don't need his offense. What they need is defense, and Tyson will provide that, or has a better chance of providing that than Owen.
Looking at a few other things, in this series overall, Dickinson probably coming back too, Craig. Both coaches had said, you know what, I'm not really going to be worrying too much about matchups. And I watched, and I noticed the Tampa Bay game was the big one. Kucherov came in. He was on fire at that time. And Dickinson and McDavid kind of split it almost 50-50, the minutes against him. And I know in today's NHL, top guys play top guys. That's just how it goes. But just the Dickinson, Nugent Hopkins, Roslovic line and the type of flexibility and how it can say, hey, we'll put them out there against Carlson's line because we feel he can handle it, because that's going to open up McDavid or Draisaitl now against other teams, deeper down the lineup lines. And that could be a big difference. Might only be 1 or 2 shifts, Craig, but in the playoffs, that could be the difference in the game or one key goal.
Well, that. And coaches are looking to try to find that opportunity where they can get that advantage. And certainly, when you have McDavid and you have Draisaitl, bottom line is Joel Quenneville on his side. It's not just the forwards. He's trying to make sure that he matches up the defense the right way, doesn't have tired players out there. And the other thing you're always trying to watch for in Joel's case is who comes out quick And good coaching too. Sometimes, you start one thing and then there's a quick change to get an advantage. You got to be ready. You got to be ready on the bench. Obviously, Joel's a very experienced coach, but those are the things you got to watch for. But to me, when you have Connor McDavid and you have Leon Draisaitl, it becomes something that I think you have to manage as a group, and you have to be really aware of when they're out on the ice. And I know it sounds obvious, but by being aware, I mean you gotta keep the puck like as much as you can below the dots in the offensive zone. Don't let them start on the breakout. Don't let them get going. Try to get up in their space before they get their feet underneath them, because once they get wheeling, and I mean, McDavid needs about a step and a half, and then Draisaitl might need 2. You're not stopping them. So to me, the defense against those two guys has to start with your forwards getting right on them as they're starting to get away. Because if you don't, now you're backed up and now you're defending. And I think that it becomes really hard against those two players, because you're just feeling this rush and this thrust coming against you all night long. And if the Ducks don't handle that in the offensive zone and kind of delay the 29 and 97 coming, they're going to have a tough time.
Greg, with all the series that are going on, all of them are great to watch. Is there anyone in particular that you're enjoying or have your eye on?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Minnesota-Dallas one, I was all over that one. I thought Carolina and Ottawa played a really good game. I mean, it was a hard game. I think those two teams have been really good. But, watching Montreal and Tampa Bay, down the stretch, Montreal went into Tampa Bay, Sean, and they beat them, and they beat them pretty good. Then they came back to Montreal in the regular season, and, Montreal beat them again pretty good, but it was a feisty affair. It was a playoff affair because, Tampa Bay thought, hey, maybe we can push these guys around, and Montreal said no. And then Montreal goes right down there. Not only do they beat Tampa Bay, but they get the 3 power play goals. Right now, Montreal looks like a team that isn't scared of anybody. And I think if you're the Tampa Bay Lightning, you lose game 1, you got to win game 2, because if they don't win game 2, they're not beating the Canadians 4 out of 5 games. No way. So I think that becomes one. And because both those teams kind of got, like I said, kind of pushed around last year. Florida did that to Tampa Bay. Washington did it to Montreal. They're both trying to assert themselves and show that they won't be pushed around. But Montreal right now has got a whole lot of mojo going, and they're feeling it.
The other game, of course, we got Ottawa, Carolina, and two teams that kind of match each other in style of play. At the start of the playoffs, 3 seconds in, there's the tilt, and it's gotten a lot of energy. The game there wasn't a lot happening. Allmark made a few key saves. I think Ottawa would like if you're the Sens, what do you need to see from them? How are they going to break down Carolina to get some better chances on Anderson?
Well, I thought they did in the third period. I thought they did a really good job in the third period, Jason. I thought the third period they got to the net, they attacked the net, they had some really good chances, and Freddie Anderson got lucky on the one where he lost his feet, and then Tkachuk was trying to get it between his legs, and it just hit him. You had the goal right on the goal line that was ruled a goal on the ice that was ruled after that it wasn't a goal. But I thought they had some good chances. I think the biggest, and I think the third period has to serve as a template. The Carolina Hurricanes are going to pressure you at every single turn. And so you better move that puck quick. You got to use the pressure that they apply against you. You got to use it against them. Get that puck off your stick, because you move it to a spot, they're right on you. So you got to be ready to move it to the next spot. And then as they break down, they rotate their defense in their defensive zone because they're saying beat us. And I thought that the Senators did a good job in the third period. They got to start the first period like that. And I think if they do, they give themselves a chance. These two teams are, in my view, very equal. But when you're not going to win games in the playoffs with scoring 1 goal, so they got to find a way to get some better chances. And not that they were hanging on, but they have to get attacking to that net with the puck and with people. And third period was a really good sign of what I think they need to continue on in game 2.
And Utah, Vegas had a little bit more spice than maybe I was expecting. I thought that was a great, like yesterday, the 3 games, man, were unreal. From Buffalo, comeback to Montreal, overtime, Slavkovsky. Like those 3 games, like no offense to the Colorado LA game, but it kind of paled in comparison to those other 3.
Yeah, it did. There's no question about it. I mean, what was 0-0, and you're kind of going, oh boy, what's going on here in Colorado? Hey, Utah is a good team. Yeah, and you talked about Anaheim, their promise, and how good they're going to be in the future. And I think that Utah's in a similar boat. But you're going in, and you got to establish yourselves right from the outset that you are going to initiate and you are going to play on your toes and you're going to get after it. I thought Utah did a really good job of that. I mean, it's a 1-goal game, empty net goal, but I think that Utah believes that they can beat Vegas, and sometimes your self-belief is as important as anything tactical or strategy-wise. And I don't think there's any reason for Utah to believe that they can't beat Vegas. And I think that try to get to the goaltending because I still think that goaltending it's not convincing me. Let's put it that way.
Craig, as always, great to catch up with you. Should be a fun playoffs. And we'll talk to you again, a double dose this week. We'll talk to you on Friday. Have a good week.
Yeah, you guys have a good week too. Thanks, Sean.
There you go. That's Craig Button from TSN. Quick break. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you. We got 5 questions next. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Welcome to Silent Ice Center, the region's newest hockey and event center in Nisku. Featuring 2 NHL-size ice surfaces, premium seating, private suites, and an electric atmosphere. From elite hockey to major tournaments, concerts, and special events, this is where the action lives. And with Summit Restaurant overlooking the rink, every event is a full experience. Silent Ice Center, built for champions, built for the community. Book your ice, your event, or your next big night at Silent Ice Center. Email booking@silenticecenter.com.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO.
Mr. Ruder says 1 plunge, 2.
What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial. If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Showman for the games live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
For a silly hockey fan, your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Camping on a long weekend without a Toyota Tacoma can feel crowded. But when you get a Tacoma during Red Tag Days, you can take advantage of its powerful I-Force engine and rugged capability to find a better site. Take advantage of Red Tag Days on now. Lease a 2026 Tacoma 4x4 double cab SR5 from $110 weekly for 60 months at 5.49% APR with $6,899 down.
Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Alan Olson Auctions presents the annual Rimby Spring Consignment Sale. Online bidding is open right now and starts closing April 20th, ending April 22nd. This massive 5-ring auction includes farm machinery, vehicles, RVs, skid steers, attachments, lawn and garden equipment, livestock equipment, and building materials, tires, tools, and so much more. Plus 3 real estate auctions selling in Rimby and Parkland County. For more info, call Alan Olson Auctions today at 403-843-2747 or visit alanolsonauction.com.
Brought to you by Papa John's. Looking for a tasty lunch? Papa John has you covered. You can get a small 2-topping pizza for only $9.99 with code S999 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Game day continues on. How are you? Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, live and on the rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street, where you want to give them a call, you can book yourself a table for tonight. I think they might have 1-2 left, maybe. I always get a little extra seating in for the games tonight. Have all sorts of specials. Highballs $5.25 all night. You got hot dog specials on Monday night, so check down here. Jasper Ave and 118th Street. The Oilers taking on the Ducks, and it should be a full slated roster tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Draisaitl and Dickinson, expecting those two to return to the lineup tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. And if they do, tonight's 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, and starting goaltender Connor Ingram, first game this season that those 19 will be in the same game. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where springtime is here. Look outside, 19 degrees. You want some outdoor patio furniture? They got you covered. Maybe you're like, you know what, man, I want a new mattress, want to sleep better. It'd be cool. Check it out, 40% off The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question number 1. What happens tonight? Oilers and Ducks. And per tradition, you got to make a bold prediction as well.
I'm going to say that it's going to be closer than maybe what most people think. I think that, the Oilers are definitely, I feel, are the better team, but it's the playoffs and anything can happen. My bold prediction will be, I'll go Frederick. Trent Frederick he's going to get a goal.
Okay. The Edmonton Oilers will remember their start to the playoffs last year and will not repeat it. They won't be giving up 15 high danger chances tonight. I think the Oilers will play a very good game, and they are going to win. Want to say probably at least 4-2, maybe more. And lock of the night, their bold prediction: Matt Savoy will do something that Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, or McDavid never did. Score a goal in his first playoff game.
All right. Question number 2 for you guys. Is there a player on the Oilers or elsewhere around the playoffs that you think could go on a Fernando Pisani type run?
Gee, I was kind of thinking with the Oilers, I was kind of thinking Roslovic maybe. Just for me, he's been, what a great year he's had. He's just quietly gone about his business, producing, putting up points. So I'd like to see him have some success.
Man, it's hard to score 14 goals. So, and he was unexpected, right? You got to think of somebody who was basically on a third line and who elevated it. And then it's got to be a team that I think is going to go deep. So if it was Edmonton, I would say, because, Matt Savoy is kind of like Pisani was, right? Starting in the bottom 6, because Pisani, that line with Peck and Torres, that was probably the Oilers' second line after the Horkoff line in the playoffs. So kind of like he got promoted. So I guess the best option would be Matt Savoy for the Edmonton Oilers. But And if I'm going non-Edmonton guy, well, how about who do I think is going to go deep? Tampa Bay. I guess if I'm going Tampa Bay, I would probably have to. Who'd be my surprise guy in Tampa? It's not never really a surprise if I think about it, but I'll go. Well, I'm going to go Brandon Hagel. I know he's a scorer, but still, 14 goals. I'll go Hagel.
Question number 3. From an Oilers perspective, who do you think are the top 3 Ducks to watch out for?
I'll go Gauthier, Carlson. And I'll go maybe I'll go Trouba or Gudas. Just with the,
yeah.
What's that?
Well, Trouba all day long for me. He's the one. Like, he plays with Jackson Lacombe. He's going to play way more than Gudas, and he's always actually been more of a big time open ice hitter. So yeah, Trouba was. If we're talking watch out for, yeah, it's Trouba because he's the one guy that can get you in the trolley tracks. And I'll say Mason McTavish and Chris Kreider.
All right. Question number 4. I'm going to open this up to like the memory bank as well, because we've seen Buffalo was absolutely crazy. Montreal is going to be great. We know what Edmonton's going to do. What are your top NHL atmospheres that you can recall?
Yeah, Edmonton's great. Montreal had a chance to play there in the playoffs. That was amazing with Boston. That was a time that it was nuts when what's his name? Kyle McLaren caught, I think it was Zednik, across the blue line. That place, it was like hitting a bee's nest. It was just, we had to get a police escort out. I think any Canadian city is obviously really good, but also Philadelphia fans are just at a different level as far as where they're willing to go verbally. It's a great sports town, but Philly fans are probably maybe the craziest sports fans that I've kind of witnessed.
Philly's a good one. The Montreal Forum, man, when it gets rocking in the playoffs is pretty special, no question. I'm still going to say Game 6 though of Stanley Cup Final in 2006 might have been the loudest. Well, it's the loudest bill I've ever been to. The acoustics is smaller blueprint than the current Rogers, and I know Game 6 in 2024 was very, very close. That was chaos. Remember, they'd been down 3-0. They come back in Game 4, they win Game 5, and they dominate Game 6. So that Edmonton one is definitely up there. And then I'm going to go to kind of off the mark because something I got to experience many, many years ago when I went to Chelsea for soccer. That was a different level.
Final question for you guys today. It is 420, a holiday for some people. In honor of that, what is your favorite stoner movie and a famous cannabis consumer?
Oh God! You know what? I'll go with. I'm not a dope marijuana guy. Like it's never really done anything for me. But I'll go with Snoop Dogg. Connor, you might have even been at the concert. Remember, Snoop Dogg was actually at Cowboys back in the day. Do you remember that, Gregor? He had a concert there.
Yes, I remember him. Yep.
Yeah, that was actually kind of fun, and I didn't expect to see Snoop Dogg at a Cowboy concert in Edmonton. So yeah, I'll go Snoop Dogg, and maybe I'll go with the movie Training Day.
Well, for me, it's Train Spotting all day long. Renton and Spud. Ewan McGregor was Renton, and God, what's his name? It was another Ewan. Brenner, something like that. Anyway, he was Spud. Like Train Spotting, man, was like, if we're talking, like, that was no joke of a movie, man. That was good. But yeah, if I'm going like the cannabis consumer, like Snoop Dogg, definitely, it's probably hard to beat him. But I'll pick someone different just because, and probably got to go with Willie Nelson. He partook in a lot of it. Could tell. I'd loved his hair too. So I guess I'll go with old Willie. Cons, what about you?
If we're going with the celebrities, I think Woody Harrelson would be awesome. Loved him in Zombieland 1 and 2. So he'd be fun to hang out with. And my favorite, Pineapple Express all the time. I think that's just a classic movie. Seth Rogen, buying from his weed dealer Sal, James Franco. It's a classic movie.
Hey, speaking of Seth Rogen, he partied one night here on the Rocks on New Year's Eve. Yeah,
really.
Just directly to my right, actually, they had him in there, and he showed up. He had met some people. A true story. Met him at a Christmas wedding, and the people afterwards like, "Hey, man, we're going back for New Year's. If you want to come, we're in Edmonton." And so they couldn't believe it, but he came, and he came back to Edmonton to New Year's Eve at OTR. So.
I don't know. I find that I'd rather drink. I'd rather have a couple.
Oh yeah, weed doesn't do much to me, man. I can't I can't inhale. Right, it's just a cough factory. It stinks like to nothing. It's awful. So yeah, like I know it's legal now, great, but you could not pay me at enough to smoke a reefer. Like no chance.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, it's the paranoia and stuff that kind of sets in, or I don't know. I think you have to be. Maybe I haven't been around the right situation, but yeah, does not for me.
No, nothing for me either. So I get it. Brownie, have yourself a good one. We will chat with you next Monday. We'll see where the Oilers are at. They'll play 4 games in the series. I see the Oilers winning this one in 5. So by next Monday, we could be setting up a game 5 possible Oilers winning the series at home. We'll see. Anything can happen. That's why they play the game. Should be fun. Have a good one.
Okay, guys, have a good one.
All right, that's Sean Brown joins us every Monday here in Sports 1440. When we return, we got our stats of the day. We're going to hear from both head coaches with their comments. Also, we'll hear from Jacob Trouba, one of the veteran defenders on the Anaheim Ducks, and how maybe they can slow down, contain the Edmonton Oilers. That and more. But first, let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property services you can feel good about, get Hire Good. Site cleanup, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. Get a quote at hiregood.ca. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game 1 finally here. Oilers and Ducks down at Rogers Place. Puck drop around 8:20. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson gets going at 6 right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere, Game 2 action. Flyers, Penguins, Sens, Canes, and the Stars, Wild, Minnesota, Carolina, and Philadelphia all in those series 1-0. In the association, the Toronto Raptors trying to bounce back in their series against the Cavs, trailing 1-0. Tip off at 5. At 6, the Knicks meet the Hawks, New York up there. And then Timberwolves taking on the Nuggets at 8:30. Denver leading in that one. Major League Baseball, Jays in Anaheim set to take on the Angels. First pitch, 7:38. Elsewhere, you got the Astros and the Guardians. Marlins host the Cards. Orioles travel to Kansas City. Cubbies and Phillies. Dodgers take on the Rockies, and the Mariners host the Athletics. Earlier today, it was the Red Sox over the Tigers by a score of 8-6. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll get to the stat of the day and be joined by longtime voice of the Ducks, Steve Carroll. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lottery, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
As we continue on, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It's the Gregor
And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew
You're an
cab,
NHL
or the
fan
Elevation,
for playoff
the 18-4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months.
Welcome
and
back
Costco
to-
members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf, GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos.
For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
For over 50 years, The Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made-in-Canada sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99 and save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregate. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Moving through a lovely Monday afternoon. How are you? Welcome back. It's the Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. And if you like specifics today, PlayAlberta.ca. Get down for the Jason Gregor Show. A few guys. Draisaitl's back in. He's got to get a goal tonight. Draisaitl goal in the playoffs. He has got 52 goals in 96 playoff games. Not bad. Evan Bouchard has been a point-a-game player in his playoff career. Only the only guy with more points per game than Evan Bouchard, Bobby Orr, in the postseason so far. Now, obviously, it's harder to maintain that over the course of your entire career, but Bouchard is off to a fantastic start in the postseason, and he'll try to build on that tonight against the Oilers. And we also have, if you think the Oilers are going to win and score some goals, you might want to check out our Dostal Connor Ingram parlay. Check it out at playalberta.ca. 4:12. Let's get to the we'll go oil report brought to you by Go Auto. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. You're looking for one. Well, they got 15,000 to choose from at over 73 different locations. can find any color, any ride at a great deal. GoAuto.ca. And the Edmonton Oilers, of course, tonight they are back in the playoffs. And head coach, first of all, just talking about Connor Ingram from where he was to get here until now, and how much faith the coach has in his starting netminder.
Well, we've always been impressed with his game. He's always given us solid performances. Well, not always, but for the most part. His game has been good, and he hasn't cost us games. And, as for a goalie, especially for this team, that's what you're wanting. As the season progressed, his game just got better and better. Playing in the American League and then in the NHL, there's a little transition period. Things are a little bit faster, a little more structured here in the NHL. And then he was able to gain confidence, and I think he feels really comfortable here and feels, part of this team. And when a player feels part of the team and confidence, then they start really elevating their game. And, these last few weeks, he's been, playing really, really good. Like, it's been remarkable to get the performances that we have. We always knew we were getting a solid goaltender, but he's elevated that and played even better. So, I think he's in a good spot right now. And, part of that is I think our team's been committed to playing good defensive hockey. So as long as our team does a good job in front of him, he's usually making more stops than not.
He's been good. And, the way the Oilers are built, their goalie doesn't, if their goalie's one of their top three players every game, they're not going to win. They're not built that way. They've never paid their goalie that way. They've never done it. They need to win by playing good hockey and sound in front of them, and then having a reliable goalie. Every team's built different, right? If you want to have a $10 million goalie, then usually you're going to sacrifice some other places, right? It's just how it goes. Unless you can have a non-cap compliant lineup in the playoffs, which of course doesn't work anymore because now there is a salary cap in the playoffs. So now obviously the cap going up might be different for teams in the future, but Edmonton's never been built to say, man, we need our goalie every night. Now you need your goalie some nights. Hell, Stu Skinner stole a few games for the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs over the years. You're going to need it every now and then, but for the most part, if you just get consistent goaltending, the Oilers should have a good chance to win. Other thing was I want to get to Mattias Ekholm and their defensive play lately. I don't like the term flip a switch, but it's like they did. And really, I think it's just a commitment. Their last 10 games, it's like, okay, guys, let's get rolling here. And they've done it. What has he seen that's led to the improvement, only 22 goals against in their last 10 games?
I think structurally we've been better, but I also think it just comes down in between your ears is just a dedication to and just putting it first, knowing that if you can keep the goals against down, you're going to have a great chance of winning games, right? So I think it's a mental thing. Obviously everybody knows what time of year it is, and obviously no better time to start doing it. So I think we're prepared. I think we know the recipe that we need to put out there to be successful. And obviously we want some scoring as well, but I do think that for us it starts on the defensive side. When we do get that part in, it's usually it's a good thing.
Yeah, when they play good defensively, we've seen it. Their odds of winning go up significantly. Now you get Leon Draisaitl back, that's only going to help you, no question, especially on the power play. And when he looks at his lineup now, it's a little bit different than last year, but speed, size, physicality, obviously it becomes in play. What does he see in the hopes and likes of his roster heading into the postseason this year?
I think so. I think we have a little bit of everything, honestly. I think we have some players that they're top two in the world. So what they bring is obviously tremendous for us. But I do think that the rest of the lineup, we're built to withstand that type of hockey and obviously the physicality and the speed. So, but every year is different. We haven't tried it out in the playoffs yet, so I'm excited to do that and see how we feel and how we look.
And lastly, for Ekholm, just you've got Savoy and Doc making their playoff debuts. You got Connor Murphy, a veteran, first time in the playoffs with fans in the stands. Can you feel their excitement? And did you know that Mattias Ekholm currently holds the longest streak in the NHL, consecutive years in the playoffs, 12? It's the longest streak of any active player. So does that, even though it's kind of maybe old hat for him, Does their excitement feed off? Is he allowed to feed off of that?
Yeah, for sure. And I think somebody else said that, like, usually the first period, the first game of the series, and especially to start the playoffs, is the most intense. It's the most, the fastest. It's most, like, the fans are into it, everything. So those guys got to go and enjoy it too, right? It's this place is special to play in the playoffs. I mean, I've been fortunate enough now to do it for 3 playoffs, and it's remarkable. Like the atmosphere, comparing the game, I mean, 81, 82, it's going to be nothing like this. So I hope those guys also go out and get pumped up and you enjoy that thing too, because it's not something you take for granted.
12 straight years for Ekholm, longest active streak currently in the NHL. Now we'll get to a conversation that I had, of course, because we always like to get the both sides of it, and caught up with Jacob Trouba, defenseman for the Anaheim Ducks, who's playing with young Lacombe, and you know what, probably is going to have to face some of the Oilers' top guys. Here's that conversation with Jacob Trouba.
Well, Jacob, you were just talking about your experience as a young guy, and it is different, but there's that you got a big team of young guys. Where's your role, do you feel, as a leader? Do you say less and just let them experience it? How do you approach this?
A little bit of both. I think you don't tell anybody how to play hockey. They're going to go out there and play. They're really good players, all the guys in this room. And you're going to learn some things as you go, the feeling, the energy, the excitement, all the things that go into playoff hockey that we all love and have been kind of chomping at the bit to play. I think all these guys that are playing for the first time have been waiting for this, and I think they're ready for it. So
your career now, it's over a decade in. You've always had the fun challenge of playing against the best players. Most guys want that challenge. You got McDavid and Draisaitl. They're very different in how they attack. For you, not that do you change different, or do you just approach different, knowing that one guy's more speed, where one guy's a little bit bigger brutality?
No, you don't really change a whole lot. I think you play your game, your system. It's not. I don't think you look at it as a one-man job that I'm trying to stop them, or me and Jackson are trying to stop them. It's a team job. There's going to be multiple guys playing against them. And they're 2 really good players. They've proven that over the course of their careers, and it's going to be a good challenge for us.
A lot of people maybe outside of the Pacific don't know how good Jackson Lacombe is. You're playing with him every day, and then what about his game has impressed you most that you feel that makes him one of the top defenders?
I think the way he's grown, I guess. I myself didn't know much of him before I got here. I think I showed up and watched what he did towards the end of last year. And then this year, obviously the season he's had, he's a special player. He skates well. I think he reminds me a lot of Josh Morrissey, who I played with for a while in Winnipeg. So he's a guy Canadian fans will know. I think he's Jackson's got a little bit of Josh in him, and I think they're 2 obviously spectacular players.
And lastly, you talked about just how the energy of the playoffs, it's way higher, even more than you thought it would be, and you talked about it. How did you adapt to it? How do you adapt in the moment? Because it's only a 7-game series. It's not like you can feel your way in very well.
Yeah, no, we got to jump right into it. Just play your game. I think the heightened level of intensity and physicality and excitement is stuff we should feed off of. We got the young guys. We got young legs. We got there's a little bit of I don't know. I think there's some strength in the inexperience as well. Like, we're coming out here to do our best and play as hard as we can, and I think we got the ability to surprise some people.
Say, interesting comparison. Hey, Josh Morrissey, hell of a player. And Jackson Lacombe, I know other fans, you've gotten to know him a little bit more the last few years in the regular season, but he's a special player. Now, he's in tough, make no mistake. Most of his minutes are either going to be up against McDavid or Draisaitl. That's a tough task for any defenseman. I know there's, we got a lot of texts coming in. Hey, Gregor, you worried about Gudas? I'll say this. If Gudas is on the ice against McDavid, that means McDavid and Draisaitl are out against the Ducks' third pair. You'll take that matchup every day because Gudas is paired up tonight with young Tyson Hines, who's played 6 NHL regular season games. Young player, 3rd-round draft pick. They really like him, defensive defenseman. But if you got Gudas and Hines, like Chris Knobloch, you couldn't get him to change the lines quick enough to get McDavid and Draisaitl out there. They know what Gudas is capable of. Keep your head on a swivel. That's all you have to do, man. Right? You got to be aware when he's on the ice, but you would take that matchup all day if you're Knobloch, because you're not worried about him getting cheap shotted by him. They're gonna have their head. Those are 2 of the smartest players in the league. But you got Hyman, Savoy, and McDavid up against that pair all day long. They would take that matchup all day if you're the Edmonton Oilers. You should. You can't be like, it's not like Gudas is hitting guys every game and taking them out, right? Like we don't have to, I think, overextend it. He's a physical player. Yeah, he's aggressive, but he's also slowing down a bit. That's not a bad matchup for Edmonton. I'll be very interested to see, because like I said, if you can get Dickinson's line out there for even, you got Carlson, Granlund, and then Ryan Pohling's with McTavish and Cutter Gauthier. Like I'd kind of argue that's their second line, really. But Seneke and Killorn and Granlund, they're good. They're, like none of their lines, their second line isn't like a Draisaitl line. Like they got good players. Don't get me wrong. Like Cutter Gauthier, 41 goal scorer, leads their team with 69 points. Excuse me. Carlson's line's their top line, no question. And I'll be curious as to which line Naubaugh runs again. And a lot of, because he gets last change. So whoever the Ducks start, then we'll kind of sense this is the line that he wants out against that line. It's not going to be all the time. We might have like a 55-60% share against one of these lines for McDavid. I think if you're Anaheim, you would like Trouba and Lacombe out against McDavid for sure. But Carlson and Minchikov, they're both pretty mobile. But the Hines-Gudas pairing, hey, that's the pairing you want to expose if you're the Edmonton Oilers in this series. We'll take a quick break. We will talk to Steve Carroll. Next, the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We'll get the Ducks side of thing. They're finally back in the playoffs. It's been a long time coming for the Quackers. And we'll talk about it with a longtime voice of the Ducks, Steve Carroll.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Hold on to your hockey helmets, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 69-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadian and Coors Light for $5.75. Plus, OTR's TVs are so clear, you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? Score and win every game night during Edmonton's playoff run with specials starting 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksYEG.com.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just $1 a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your picks. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Start thinking spring road trips and off-road trips in your new Subaru Crosstrek. Stylish, rugged, and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Plus, with interest rates from 0.99%, you'll love the affordable weekly payments. No waiting, immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EUL. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at EUL.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. EUL.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.428, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. We are just under 4 hours from puck drop. Of course, coming around at 8:22 puck drop tonight. I know it's going to say 8 o'clock. I'm just giving you the heads up. So if you want to watch all the pregame, awesome. But if you want to just be there when the puck is dropped, then boom, you can be there at 8:20. Sit down, whatever you're fancy. Hey, get here to OTR, get yourself a good seat. $5, $5.25 highballs. You got specials on hot dog. Also a Jameson Fireball. Woo-hoo. Could be a fun night at OTR. And, of course, most Canadian specials throughout the game. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. You can always text us. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And after a thunderous debut in 2023, it's been a few years, but the hype is back. The Chicken Big Mac. The combination, the Chicken Big Mac, comes together in one scrumptious flavor. Check it out right now, only at McDonald's. As the longtime voice of the Anaheim Ducks, Steve Carroll joins us. Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Looking forward to the series coming up, though. I think it's going to be a pretty good one.
Yeah, well, Steve, the Ducks, they took it down to your final game for you, for now anyways, as the broadcaster voice of the Ducks. Entertaining game, man. They needed a win, and they dominated. They're finally able to scratch out a win against Nashville to punch their ticket to get to the playoffs, first time in many years for the Ducks. And you've been calling these games for a long time. It was interesting listening to Jacob Trouba talking about his first playoff experience as a member of the Jets against that Ducks team of 2015, back when the Ducks and the Sharks and the Kings were all good, but also huge. And when I look around this Ducks team today, I'm not saying they're there yet, but man, they got a lot of signs that they're coming back to a big physical team again with some skill.
Yeah, you know what? For the most part, we have a pretty young hockey club. There's some veterans on this team. Will certainly be important here come the playoff series with you guys. I think a couple of things I've looked at and reading about today, fact that this team in Anaheim had 26 comeback wins this season, which tied them for most with Montreal, 17 one-goal comebacks, 9 two-goal comebacks. But guess what? I don't think they want that in this playoff series against Edmonton. If you keep falling behind, then all of a sudden the confidence goes, the momentum changes. So I think one thing they want to do is have the lead on a lot of occasions, and that means maybe contributing a little bit more on the power play, on the penalty kill, keep the puck out of the net for the PK, and score some goals. We certainly have some guys that can score some goals on this team, a good mix of veterans and young players, and they've all been a big part of the success this year. And I don't think you can discount what this coaching staff has done either. When I found out we were bringing in Joe Quenneville, who's won a Stanley Cup, pretty good hockey player at his day as a defenseman, and his staff, I thought, you know what? maybe this is the type of guy we need here, especially with all the young players that we have. And we have some good ones, some skilled, talented players that are in their first, second year at this level. So I think that mesh has been perfect for this hockey club. I didn't know if the expectations were extremely high at the beginning of this, but tell you what, the team worked hard, and they worked hard to get into a playoff spot. And, you know, besides all that, whatever happens in this year's playoff series, how long the Ducks go, I think the future looks good for this organization, especially with all the young talent we've been able to assemble here.
Yeah, well, you know, hey, their ability to come back in games, and Joe Quenneville said something similar to you. Said, hey, you know, it's great we could do it, and we believe we're never out of a game. But in the playoffs, hey, we've seen it so far. Teams that score first are 5-2 in the playoffs, and you know, Edmonton's a team. If they score first, they have a load of success. And because usually when you're trailing, Steve, then sometimes you got to push and cheat for a chance. And if you do that against McDavid or Draisaitl, they can really feed you.
Yeah, and you know what? I think for the most part we're pretty healthy here too. But you know, I keep seeing Leon Draisaitl's name in all the articles I've been reading, and I know he's going to probably be in there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you've got a guy like that. We've got a young team. It's really going to be a key, I think, is doing whatever you can to at least stop some of the possible progress that you guys have by having this guy back in the lineup. With the young team that we have here, this is new for a lot of the kids. We do have some veteran players in that, and we're going to need some guys that step up, score goals too. I think for us, some of the keys will be offensive ability, capabilities against Edmonton. You got Leo Carlson, who's been a big part of our team this year, Mikhail Granlund. You have Beckett, Seneca. I mean, the list goes on and on. Troy Terry's there. And we need those guys to produce. And, you know, one guy I was looking at today, I didn't realize the credentials that Chris Kreider had in the playoffs. This is for teams he was with before us. So we've got a handful of those type guys that can score. And I'm not leaving out, I saved them for last. You hear that a lot of times you save the best for last. But this Cutter Gauthier kid had himself a good second half of the year. He's an offensive threat. And Ryan Poehling might be another guy you keep close tabs on during the series. He's done a terrific job after being acquired before the season. So you've got some scoring opportunities here. And the bottom line for me is goaltending. So important. And if Lukas Dostal plays like he has for the most part this year, I think we have a chance to do some good things. But it's going to be interesting to me how important the goaltenders on both sides are. Special teams becomes big, but, you know, this is new for a lot of the young kids we have here. I think game one and game two, if we can compete, get a win out of the first two games on the road, a little bit of confidence, then, hey, you know what? For us, that's a positive.
The Ducks have given up a lot this year, and Lukas Dostal is a really good goaltender. And, you know, Joe Quenneville said, hey, if we're going to win, we gotta limit what we're giving up, Steve. And that's hard to do, right? Like, it's the Oilers, yep. A lot of the good teams, it's everybody know, hey, we want to play better defense. Well, better defense is really a mindset. It's not so much skill as it is will and just patience and learning when not to be, you know, be on the right side of the puck and all that. And you've kind of been through a few generations of the Ducks where you've seen them go from that team to being learning how to win to then win. And then now they're kind of going through that again. You look at Jackson Lacombe and maybe the importance of him. And, you know, they got Trouba and they got Gudas, but it's safe to say, like, that's kind of the next phase is they need some guys, some younger guys coming up after Mintyukov and Jackson who can maybe fill out the rest of those holes in the defense down the road. Fair?
Yeah, we've had this Tyson Hines kid come up here recently, too. Lacombe has been awesome. And, yeah, you're exactly right on all of that. And, you know, I thought a big addition for the team was when they got John Carlson. To be quite frank with you, I think we were needing that veteran guy that's had some success in the past with all the hockey he has played. And he has been terrific as far as being a leader, a guy with experience that the young guys can go to. And I think it makes a big difference when you have a guy like that pointing out maybe a mistake that was made, or let's see how we play against this team. And to me, he's been a teacher too. He's been around this league for so long. When we play a team that some of these young kids aren't familiar with, John Carlson's a guy. He scored 3 goals the other night in the game, and I'm thinking, well, he might be around here for another 3 or 4 years if he does that more often. But I think that's been huge for our club, acquiring a guy like him. And you know what? Our defense has their work cut out for them with all those guys that can score for you or offensive threats. So I think that's going to be a big key. But we need to stay out of the penalty box. Our penalty killing has not been all that great. And defensively as a whole, we need to be better. And if you're allowing goals or falling behind in games against your hockey club, whether it be 1-2-0, and it stays that way for a while, you might have a problem, especially when some of these young kids playing in their first playoff series ever.
Steve Carroll joins us, and you got some veterans for sure, but you got a lot of young kids. But there's also that excitement level comes with it. When you look at Leo Carlsson and just him here, do you see him? If you're Joe Quenneville, do you have Carlsson up against McDavid's line more? Or do you have Carlsson up against Draisaitl's line?
Play him against both. I'm just kidding you. I think that might be something that you see happen there. Leo certainly has proven what he can do offensively in that. Then the other question becomes, well, if you've got Leo Carlsson, how do you mix up the other 3 guys? I'm thinking of guys like Cutter Gauthier and even Beckett Seneca, who's been a real surprise for us. I think the first game and maybe even the first period or so, you're going to get a sense for what's going to be happening, if they're going to stick with guys, because if we fall behind 1-2, 3-0, well, you've got to mix things up. If you go ahead and grab the lead, Dostal's on, I think the young defensemen have some good experience right now. And, regardless of what happens in this series, we haven't been in the playoffs for a number of years. I think you know that by now. So for a lot of these kids, it's brand new, but the veterans have a guy like Chris Kreider, a Troy Terry. He's going to be a big part of this too. He's played perhaps his best hockey in a while, and they just got to go out there. And it would be very important if I'm thinking about this whole thing. I think it would be a positive if our team can go in there and come home 1-1. Now, whether or not that happens, I don't know. But what it does do is I think builds confidence if we're able to get a win against a team like yours with all that experience too. And going up against McDavid, Draisaitl, and a host of other really good players, you know what? Maybe that's what they need, a good start, because I don't think you can fall behind your team 1-0, 2-0 early in the series, because then it makes it even more difficult, even if we have a few games coming up at home.
Steve, quickly, one last one for you. Look at the other series in the West: Colorado, LA, Vegas, Utah, and mini Dallas. Any of those first game ones surprise you?
Well, I watched every single minute of all 3 games. I had 2 TVs on in the booth, so I wouldn't miss anything at all. I was a little surprised that LA stayed as close as they did against Colorado, because I think Colorado is going to win that particular series. The shocker to me was Dallas, the way Minnesota went in there and won the first game. That was pretty darn amazing to me how that happened. And the other series, correct me if I'm wrong here, I lost my sheet of paper here. So many information. The other one you were asking me about?
Dallas and Vegas, yeah.
Vegas, Utah, yeah. That was an interesting one. I got a hunch that series might go 6-7 games, though, watching that. So we'll see. There's not an easy night in the National Hockey League, and as far as I'm concerned, it gets a lot tougher to play and win if you have teams with young players. But it's certainly going to be an exciting 4 or 5 weeks, and I just hope the Ducks are competitive against Edmonton. And looking forward, I'll have a chance to get out to the games here at home at Honda Center and watch the guys perform that you have that are such great hockey players. And I'm talking about the Draisaitl's and the McTavishes and, people like that. So I can't wait.
Awesome, Steve. Appreciate your time, man. Have a great day.
All right. Hey, thanks.
There you go. That's Steve Carroll, and longtime voice of the Ducks. Steve actually just called his final game with the Ducks. He's hoping to come back just for some health reasons. He's had to step away, so we wish Steve all the best in the next few years, and hopefully gets back into some other role later on with the organization. We'll come back. We'll get to our stats of the day, brought to you by Action Construction. It's the Gregor Show, All-Star Construction. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
For over 50 years, The Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made in Canada sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99 and save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved heavy truck auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, backs, pickers, service, shunt, and tank trucks, plus more. Info at maauctions.com.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved industrial auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring Japa equipment rentals, realignment with 5 2022 to 2020 XCMG 250U, 300U, 360U, and 490U excavators. Search Japa at maauctions.com.
I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV, and I want to give you something for free. A free roof assessment on your used RV. And remember, basically every RV is a used RV.
What do I get for my free roof assessment, Rick?
Well, Bob, we're going to climb up on top of your RV and take a good detailed look at your roof. Check all the joints, connections, and seals. Then we'll give you a written report so you know exactly what's going on up there. You should do this at least twice a year.
You're just doing this out of the goodness of your heart, Rick?
Cards on the table, Bob. About 1 in 10 RVs we see have something wrong with the roof. If yours is one of them, then yes, we're going to offer to sell you a repair. But we'd rather do a small repair when your leak is small than sell you a big, expensive repair when it's so bad you can see it from the inside. And you don't have to accept our offer to fix it. It really is free either way. So come by Noble RV and know for sure.
And that's Noble. NobleRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Or 46, rolling through Monday afternoon. How are you? Hope you had a good weekend. Ooh, the week is shaping up better. Hey, you know what? Some golf course around town, Cattail, opened up today too. So all of you golfers, for a lot of you say, hey, I get to plan my golf games on the days there's no Oilers games. So the Oilers play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. And then game 5 would be next Tuesday, Thursday, and if there's a game 7, it'll be Saturday. So that's kind of what we know. All right, so you can plan accordingly. Welcome back. We're live and on the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street, where your place to watch the game. I'll tell you this, I guarantee you'll have fun. They always have little events going on during the game. They got the highball specials at $5.25. Their beer features a Sea Change for only $6. Trust me, that is Sea Change Wolf. It's one of the best beers. Cons, have you ever had a Wolf?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh my goodness, what are you doing? We got to get you one. So
yeah, let's do it.
They are very, very, very tasty. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. So, hey, Gregs, where can I see these Gregor Show specials? It's easy at playalberta.ca. Just go to playalberta.ca, and if you click on sports and then on the quick links on the left side, you'll see the Jason Gregor Show. It's right there. Boom, you click on it. We got some special guest bets, and it gives you a few odds boosts, a little bit of extra odds. So check it out at playalberta.ca. Now, let's get to some stats of the day brought to you by All Star Construction. Founded in 2009, just continued to grow and expand, helping build neighborhoods, and they do tons in the community of donate back from simple things as donating all the lights for outdoor facility, for outdoor arenas, parking lot lights at charitable events, cancer foundation, and more. So that's what they do at All Star Construction. Some stats for you today to get to when the NHL playoffs begin this season. All time already, the Edmonton Oilers have some of the most productive players all time. Connor McDavid comes in. He has 150 points in 96 games. Tonight's game 97. Could 97 have something planned special for game 97? Who knows? But he's currently tied with Stan Mikita for 31st most points in NHL playoff history. Let's just say he's going to get at least 10 points. Probably agree to that. Mikita's at 150. Larry Murphy's at 152. Adam Oates is at 156. Brad Marchand's at 158 in 180 games. And Claude Lemieux's also at 158 in 234 games. So McDavid moves past all of them. Then you get to the next round, Gordie Howe, Mike Bossy, Al McInnes, Dennis Potvin. These are the type of guys that McDavid is going to be passing. Leon Draisaitl, currently tied with Corey Perry at 42nd most points in playoff history. Both have 141. Perry's played 238 games. Draisaitl's played 96. So his points per game is just a tad higher. Almost twice as high as Corey Perry, who's had a really good playoff career. But that just shows you how good. Draisaitl is going to pass Chelios, Robinson, Pavelski, Ron Francis, Mike Modano, Alex Ovechkin this season and more. So, and then he'll just keep going up the list. Evan Bouchard, amongst all-time defensemen, is 25th in points. He's second in points per game behind only the great Bobby Orr. But Evan Bouchard, his 81 points in 25 games, as I mentioned, is 25th most all-time. Charlie Huddy right in front. Cale Makar is 4 points up on Bouchard. He's played 80 games. Bouchard's played 75. Bouchard just slightly ahead in points per game. So those two consecutively this year, a lot of people think Edmonton and Colorado might meet in the third round. And, the winner of that's likely going to be the guy who ends up in the top. If I look at their points this year, they get 15 or so points. These guys are going to be around the top 15 mark all time by the end of this year. Pretty impressive by those two young offensive defensemen. The Edmonton Oilers players making their playoff debut tonight for Edmonton: Matt Savoy, Colton Dach. Guys making their playoff debut for the Oilers include, of course, Jack Roslovic, Dickinson, Dach, but it's his first NHL game. Connor Murphy, first time in the postseason for him with fans. Connor Ingram, this will be his fourth playoff start tonight. If you look at Edmonton, they've faced the Ducks a few times in the NHL playoffs. They beat them in 2006. Then they lost to them in 7 games in 2017. Remember, they were up 2-0 in that series. I know that's the infamous goalie interference goal that Oiler fans hate, but That rule obviously has changed now. And players, I don't think there was actually, I know, in 2017, the players on the Ducks, none of them are here anymore. Is there a rivalry between Edmonton and Anaheim? I don't think so. Could there be a rivalry after one period? Yes, that's what's great about the playoffs. As much as people talk about Gudas, I'd say keep your head up for Jacob Trouba. That guy can hit, and he can hit hard, and he plays way more minutes. He plays with Jackson Lacombe. He's going to be on the ice. That's the guy you got to make sure that you are aware of if you're the Edmonton Oilers. The Ducks, Vial in the bottom on their fourth line. He's a very physical player. He's somebody the Oilers, I think, need to be aware of a little bit when he's on the ice. Now, I mentioned Trouba and Gudas. Those guys have 164, 143 points or hits, respectively. But Mason McTavish, the youngster Beckett Seneca, those guys are probably the two outside of Ross Johnson, who's not playing. Those are the two most physical forwards of the Ducks. For the Edmonton Oilers, obviously Vasily Podkolzin, 242 hits this year for Podkolzin. Frederick at 193 amongst the forwards. Then it drops down. Darnell Nurse is third at 137. Now, Zach Hyman. Zach Hyman had 56 hits in 58 regular season games. But as you know, Zach Hyman in the playoffs, much different. Much different. Last year, Hyman had 111 hits in 15 games. 15. Guy was hitting everything that moved. It was basically averaging 7 hits per game in the playoffs. And then he would have set the NHL record, would have crushed it if it wasn't for the unfortunate injury against the Dallas Stars. But you look for Hyman, you look for Podkolzin. Two guys in the Edmonton Oilers have been very physical as of late, Trent Frederick and Colton Dach. Now, it's the playoffs. I've seen a lot of people talking, hey, the Oilers' fourth line, how much are they going to play? Well, here's the thing. They might not play that very much, but when they play, you got to make an appearance. You got to make it known. AJ Greer, Johan Gadjevich, those guys, they played 16 games each. They had 63 and 53 hits, but their hits per 60 were like, when they were on the ice, they were just a wrecking ball. They only averaged like 8 minutes a game, but they made it count. And so Frederick and Dach, it's hard. Don't get me wrong, man. I have all sorts of respect for players who can contribute in limited minutes. It's extremely hard to do. You're sitting there waiting, and you got to go for like 35 seconds, just, balls to the wall, and then you come back and might sit down for 5 minutes. It's a hard, hard job. And the guys who buy into that job, AJ Greer is very effective for Florida in the role that he played. And really kind of that's how I see Dach and Frederick. I think the coach would like to get him into it. The Oilers games overall don't have as many power plays, so you can rotate your lines a little bit more. I think a lot of it will depend on, hey, when the Oilers are leading, probably can rotate your lines a little bit more. They get into a time where they're trailing, well, obviously you're probably not going to play your fourth line a ton, but I would hope that they can at least get 10 minutes because neither one of them killed penalties, so it's hard to see because the other guy on that line was Nosek. He killed penalties, so he was around 11 minutes a game. And that's what Frederick is at. So I know there's been lots of talk about Frederick and Szymanski, and there's lots of people who feel, well, not lots. There's some who feel, oh my God, it's a terrible decision. You should be playing Szymanski. Well, here's the thing. So let's just, if you want to look at the whole season, of course, but I can look at the whole season of a lot of Oilers players' numbers, not that good. So since things turned around, you look at, now this is just 5-on-5. This is not including penalty kill, but at 5-on-5, their last 10 games. Henrique out shooting opponents 42-32, goals for, goals against are 3-3, and his expected goals for is 4.45 to 3.79. Szymanski's been outshot 35-44, even in goals for against, and his expected is slightly below 3.36 to 3.69. Then you throw in face-off wins, you throw in penalty killing. That's why Adam Henrique's playing. This is not a coach who, he never gives young players a chance. Like, you can't say that and then look and say, oh, who's on McDavid's first line tonight? Oh, geez, is that a rookie? Oh, yes, it is. It's Matt Savoy. So don't say the coach doesn't like young players. Okay? He really likes Josh Szymanski. He has praised the guy all year long. But Adam Henrique's a veteran. Adam Henrique has played better down the stretch, and he's a better face-off guy, and he's more in their penalty kill. and ask Tampa Bay if penalty kill matters. Like I chuckle, people say, oh, penalty kill doesn't matter. What do you mean it doesn't matter? You're on the penalty kill. Tampa Bay lost the game because of their penalty kill's inability to stop Montreal's power play. That was the difference. They only gave up 1 goal 5-on-5. Slavkovsky had a hat trick on the power play. Never say the power play doesn't matter. Matters massive. The percentage of goals to the minutes played is infinitely higher than 5-on-5. Infinitely high. So I understand why Henry. Now, the other thing is to remember, Kasperi Kapanen, 2025. Connor Brown, 2024. You know what they have in common? Neither one of them started the NHL playoffs. They both came in. Brown didn't come in until the second round, same with Kapanen. But when they came in, man, they made a big impact. And so regardless of who's starting, right, Szymanski might not be in game one. Max Jones, he's probably going to be eligible to come into round 2. When those guys get an opportunity, because the odds of Edmonton playing with just 12 forwards and just 6 defensemen for the entire playoffs is pretty unlikely, right? We know that. It's unlikely. So you're going to need depth. You're going to need other guys to step up. And I'm not so concerned at all about the Oilers' depth. My one concern would probably be on the back end. And I think you might, if the Oilers have an injury on the back end, depending on who it is, that like if it's Wallman or Emberson and you bring in Stastny, I think we could see an Edmonton situation in their top 4 that was very similar to Chicago, like the 2010 Stanley Cup final that had Chicago and Philadelphia. Like look at the defense. They basically each team went with 4 D-men, right? Duncan, Keith, Seabrook, Hjalmarsson, and Campbell, right? And then Philadelphia. Well, my goodness, I got to look it up here, going off memory, but like Chris Pronger, Timonen, Carl, Coburn, yeah, like so those are their top 4. Every one of them played 25 minutes a night. Lukas Krajicek, he played 10 minutes a night, and then Ryan Perrant and Oscar Bartulis, they split the other 24 games, and they averaged 728 and 644 as defensemen. Right? It happens. And so for the Oilers, if their top pair is going, I won't be, their top 2 pairs, I should say, like Connor Murphy, Darnell Nurse, I won't be shocked if those guys, if you're going to play. It was actually the 2015 Hawks that was more top heavy with Keith, Seabrook, Hjalmarsson, and Onduya. Keith played 31 minutes a game that year. Seabrook was 26, Hjalmarsson was 26, and Johnny Onduya was 24. There's a few games they had 7 defensemen, and they didn't play very much. Kimmo Timonen played 8 minutes. Michael Roosevelt did play 17 minutes, but he didn't even play in half the games. He only played in 10 out of 24. So teams have won the cup loading up with it. It's playoffs, man. If you got guys going, and that's why I'd heard earlier some suggestions of, well, Wallman and Emberson, you got to split them up. What are you talking about? No, you don't. You're not going to split them up. All that's going to happen is they're going to play less. You're not going to split them up to weaken one of your top 2 pairs. It's not happening. So if that pair, they just got to play better. To me, it's just that simple. So there you go. Some stats of the day brought to you by All-Star Construction. When we come back, Mark Spector will join us. We also got Cam Tate. We're going to hear from Joe Quinn. We'll also hear more from Chris Knobloch, Zach Hyman, who is ready to go. And trust me, as he should. Because I'll be honest, I was a little surprised. But, hey, Zach, you led the NHL in hits, but then you got injured. Would you hit less? And I'm like, he didn't get injured on a hit. Why the hell would you ask him that? He got injured on a freak play that didn't even look like a bad hit in open ice for Marchment. Why would Hyman for a moment think I can't hit? So, no, I expect Zach Hyman to be very physical tonight. Doc and Frederick right behind him. Pod Coles and same thing. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. And, man, the weather is nice. Now it's Corvette season. Maybe you want to get not only a Corvette, maybe one with a rag top. Ooh, check it out. NorthgateGM.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game day, Oilers Ducks down at Rogers Place game, one of their best of 7. Pre-game coverage coming your way immediately following the Jason Gregor Show with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro. Elsewhere, you got Flyers, Penguins, Canes, Senators, and the Wild take on the Stars, Minnesota, Carolina, Philadelphia. all leading those series 1-0. In the association, Victor Wembanyama, the first unanimous NBA Defensive Player of the Year since the award's inception way back in 1982. On the court, the Raptors trying to even up their series with the Cavaliers. That one gets going shortly. Later, you got Knicks and Hawks, with the Timberwolves taking on the Nuggets, Denver, and New York, leading each of their series. And in the majors, Toronto down in Anaheim to take on the Angels. First pitch, 7:38. A couple games going on right now. Astros on top of the Guardians, 2-1 in the third. Meanwhile, the Rays trail the Reds 2-0 in the bottom of the first. Marlins, Cards, Braves, Nationals, both scoreless. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, and we'll hear the latest edition of Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free Radio Player app and listen wherever you go.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a deal from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Ever had a problem returning auto parts? At Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock, we do things differently. Hi, it's Lisa, and we're proud to offer one of the best return policies in the business. When you shop with us, you buy with confidence, knowing that if it doesn't fit or if it's not the right part, we'll make it right. For nearly 50 years, Ed's Auto Salvage has helped Alberta drivers save money, stay on the roads, and shop stress-free. Trust the team that stands behind every part we sell. Visit us at edsautosalvage.com.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregate. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care. Injuries don't wait, and neither should you. 01 Athletic Care offers one-stop access to doctors, x-rays, and casting. It's expert musculoskeletal care covered by Alberta Health right in West Edmonton Mall. Move from injury to recovery. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 5 o'clock. Countdown is on. Now we got a lot of texts. Guys, can we just fast forward? I'm getting tired of waiting. Every other team's played. I just want to see a game. They'll calm me down. Then I'll be ready. That's fair, Steve. I think a lot of people are the same way as you. The hype, the anticipation, then finally it almost gets to the point. All right. But hey, good news. You can watch now the early game, or there you go. Listen to the show. We'll have lots of Oiler talk for the next hour. And then we have a pregame show coming up, extended 2-hour edition at 6 o'clock with Walker and Paulson. Will probably be longer than 2 hours because puck drop is until 8:20. 22, I think, to be exact. So we'll see. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. And we are coming to you live at OTR. Jasper Ave 118. That's when I know the playoffs are back, because we are back at OTR. And if you've never been to a game at OTR, you should go, because, man, they have loads of fun, and there's lots of great people. People are fired up. There's lots of jerseys come in. Everyone's sitting down, ready to roll. Got great food and drink specials. So check it out tonight, Wednesday, Friday. We'll be here every night, teeing up games 1, 2, and 3 this week. Now, let's get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Number one, underground infrastructure specialist. If you are in need of running water, they've done it. You're in need of driving to work, they've done it. They do all the things. They're kind of like the grinders. Like tonight, the guys you're liking, Doc and Frederick, maybe don't get a lot of hype, but they're very crucial to success. That's GS Construction. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Hey, pretty fair. Jay, read your Q&A with Connor Murphy today. It was good stuff. Insightful, I might say.
Well, there you go. Every now and then. Now, you know what? I have to say, Connor Murphy's, like, there's certain people you meet and deal with over the years as players, and I just really like his authenticity and his answers and how he talks about it. Like when we were talking off the mic, it's like I put it all down and we're talking after that. He goes, man, just talking now. And I done that interview on Friday, and he's like I cannot wait to walk out for the crowd, because he's never played a playoff game with crowds before. And he was here in the bubble, right? And he goes, like, it's completely different. Like, he remembers, and you were there, Spec. I was there. First of all, it was the coldest time I've ever been in the rink, because there was no one in there. But, like, you could hear everything. And, like, when guys would block a shot, guys on the bench would try to cheer, but it didn't do anything. And for a guy like Connor Murphy, he says, hey, like, now you have a big hitter, you have a big block shot. The fans in the playoffs, like, they're paying attention, they're on it, and you feel like, hey, I did my part. Like, obviously, you'd love to score a goal, and he kind of joked about it. He goes, man, I don't know what I'd do if I'd score a goal. I'm not used to scoring a goal, but the crowd excitement of it. And then his dad, Gord, who, of course, played in the NHL and played for the Panthers, been to a cup final, and his mom, like, Gord's been coaching a long time, assistant coach in the NHL for basically the last 2 decades. He's never seen him play in the playoffs, and he's rarely seen him play live. So his parents are coming down, and he's like, man, so all that combined, he is just, he kind of joked about it, goes, I just don't want to run out of position on the first shift.
Yeah, it's even guys who have played a long time say that they get jacked up. They hear that crowd when they're coming out. They come out of that tunnel. It's a playoff game. They've been waiting all year. Even a veteran player can get caught running around. I think, to me, the difference is, I mean, I've never been that player, but having talked to many of them, I think the difference is the guys who've played a lot, it takes a shift, maybe 2, and then they turn it back. They're back into normal, normal hockey, and they kind of forget about the crowd, I'll be honest with you. I think what you see with younger guys is when the momentum in the playoffs starts heading one way and the crowd starts going, like in Buffalo last night, for instance, they have a hard time turning it around. And that's probably the difference between a veteran and a rookie in an NHL playoff game.
And Spec, I know I tweeted it out earlier that my source had said Draisaitl's playing. Well, it's official now. He has been activated off of LTIR. Leon Draisaitl will be in the lineup tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Obviously not really a surprise to anybody who's been around it for the last few days, but it's official now, and Draisaitl comes back in, and you got to think, for a guy who's been as good as he has in the playoffs, healthy or not healthy, it's a massive boost to this team.
Oh, come on. He'd be the best player on what? 28 teams, 27 teams in the league, other teams, 29.
May 30. Like other than McKinnon, who else would you put ahead of him?
I'm not sure. So
and I'm not even sure you put McKinnon, so it's close.
Well, certainly the best forward, and I mean we can start talking defenseman. But my point is, you bring in, the fact that you have McDavid, who's even better than he is, it's crazy. But he'd be the best player on almost every team in the league. He's coming back in your lineup. He's the best trigger man you have, both regular strength and on the power play. He's a total leader inside that room. He's been through this thing all the way with everybody. He's a massive part of what they do here. Like, there's just everything good for the Oilers having this guy back in their lineup.
Yeah, he's massive. And I get the sense Dickinson's going to play too for the Edmonton Oilers. And, so I went through the lineup spec. Tonight would be the first game this season that these 18 skaters and Connor Ingram were in the same game together. The 18 forwards did play one game against Carolina, and Tristan Jarry was the goalie that night. But then after that, either Henrique, Dickinson, Nugent Hopkins, Doc, Draisaitl, I can't remember who else, missed games due to injury. Emerson, other guys. So it's this is when they say, hey, this is like the optimal lineup for the Oilers, they're actually factual. I think it's the optimal lineup for the Edmonton Oilers tonight.
Yeah, it's their best for sure. It's their best 20 guys, let's say. You can haggle over some things. Can Szymanski play a position over another guy? Yeah, maybe, but whatever. This is their team. It's funny, Jay, because they struggled all year with the whole balance of, playing however they played in the regular season. It didn't seem like they got the pedal to the floor very often, but they needed enough points to make the playoffs. They came a little short of their division. I get it, a few points short, but in the end, here they are. They got home ice in the first round. They're healthy, which is the most important thing. More important than where you finished is being healthy. And the other one is playing your best hockey of the season, right? It doesn't matter anymore what teams played like in January and December and November. All it matters is those months might have got you home ice advantage, but if you're not playing any good now, home ice advantage will not overcome the fact you don't have your game. And right now the Oilers have their game, and it can only go north from here, I would think. And they got all their players. So really, that's all an Oiler fan can ask for.
The Anaheim Ducks, young team, big team, skilled team. They can score, no question. The regular season games against the Oilers, they average between the two of them 9 goals a game. There's 27 goals in 3 games. So, they can play up tempo. But Joe Quenneville, you were there today, Spec. He's like, hey, we got to try to slow down the Edmonton team. I'm just not sure. You're going to want to try it, but it's hard to learn to play defense. Ekholm even mentioned it today. Hey, I asked him about their final 10 games. Well, it's between the years. When you know how to play it, then you got to do it. And I'm just maybe the Ducks can flip the switch. I'm just not. I think it's too hard for a young team who struggled with it all year long to suddenly think they're going to be able to play a 7-game series and play good defensively every night.
Yeah, they've been a 4-3, 5-4 team all year. They've trailed, Jason, for most of the year. They set a team record for comebacks in the third period this year, which is awesome. But all it means is you're behind every night in the third period. And in the playoffs against good defensive teams, those comebacks are few and far between. You might get one, but you're not winning 4, trailing in the third period all the time. So that's something that you can't live that way in the playoffs. I would say to you that their last regular season game they needed to win, they won 5-4 with a power play goal with a couple minutes left. It was more run and gun against Nashville. So I do believe that style of play, the Oilers will eat that alive. The Oilers have been that team that had to remember not to run and gun and figure out how to play proper defensively. They've been there. They've passed that test now for a few years. If Anaheim thinks that they can run that kind of hockey past, what do they say? You can't bleep a bleeper. The Oilers know that routine. The young guys that skate, play. You try that in Edmonton, it's probably going to bite you.
Yeah, the Anaheim Ducks had a lead after the first period 19 times this season. They won 5 of those. That's it. They're right. They trailed lots. They only scored first in 33 games this season. which, people, okay, but like the only teams less were Philly, Vancouver, each at 32, and Nashville at 31. And even then the Ducks, they only won 22 of 33 games. So they just, you know what? They're a team that, hey, if you can get up on them, they don't wilt, but playing from behind in the playoffs, Spec, if you're down 1-0, you don't want to panic. But as a young team, I wonder if you panic and suddenly a guy, tries to leave when he shouldn't leave, and suddenly now you're giving up an odd man rush the other way, and boom, now suddenly it's 2-0. And I think that's what Edmonton scoring first, I think, is vital in every series, obviously. But I think against this Ducks team, if you can get them having to try to chase the game, that's going to be a massive advantage, because they'll take some, like in a 1-0 game, you shouldn't take that many risks early, but some teams just inherently start to do it, especially when they're young.
Yeah, especially when they're young. The Oilers have learned, and I know this year they didn't always play this way, but they've learned it's okay to play a period and not score a goal, right? It's okay to be in a 0-0 game even after 2. They're confident. They got better goals. Anaheim can score. I always say this, if Edmonton and whoever they play split up minimal scoring chances in a low event game, my money's on Edmonton, because Edmonton has a couple guys that score better than everybody else does. So the Oilers are confident that if it's low event hockey, no problem, we can win. If it has to be high event hockey, they can win that too. So I suggest that the Ducks have learned they win at high event hockey. I don't know how much low event hockey they've won at, and everyone of our listeners who's been watching playoff hockey here for a long time realizes the events go south in the playoffs. Good teams play lower event hockey in the playoffs, and they win at it. Maybe Anaheim could do it, but I don't think they've done that yet, have they?
Not consistently. You do have to win both ways. Like, look at Florida. Look at how high scoring their games were in the Stanley Cup final last year against Edmonton, right? They scored 5 and 4 goals almost every game. So you're right. You can't do it if you have to. But then you have to hope that your goalie can make a key save. And that comes down to Connor Ingram tonight. We had Kevin Woodley did a great breakdown of Ingram and Dostal, strengths, areas that maybe teams will commit to. And he said, hey, Ingram's not the most dynamic goalie. He's not Vasilevsky. We're not going to see the splits across crease. That's not what he does usually, but he's very good positionally. And you hear Matthias Ekholm on and off the record talk about him. Ingram's just his calm demeanor, except after shootouts, is really what seems to kind of he's a low maintenance guy, Spec, and he's kind of, hey man, like hockey's not the most important thing. And it's refreshing to hear someone say that. And I think it maybe puts things into perspective for some people, even his teammates.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he's a pretty interesting cat. I've over the many years, we've dealt with lots of guys who have come out of that program and guys who've had issues in their lives and off the ice and things like that. I think of Brant Myers. He was always very open, and I think he almost wanted to talk about it. This guy's kind of the same. Like he brings up his OCD, travails as often as I would when we speak. If I've talked about it with him 10 times, he's brought it up 5 or 6 of them. So he's happy he is who he is, man. He's not sweeping anything under the rug. I'm not talking about that. He's very open, and he's just a very regular guy. Like, if you just saw him on the street, the guy could be he doesn't act like an NHL guy, even in an NHL room, man. He's like he could be a plumber or a pipe fitter or whatever, He's just a regular cat from Saskatchewan. I quite like him as a person. And I think as a goaltender, what's not to like? And, his game's been going north, Jay. Like his game is consistently getting better. Why should it stop now? Can it not get better in the playoffs? Like there's no law that says this is how good he is. He might get better yet. I'm not going to put any restraints on him.
Yeah. It's totally fair. Looking at the Doc Frederick line and what they've done lately, I think they're going to have to continue doing it, Spec, but they might be doing it in less minutes, right? Like I'm not sold that they're going to get 11, 12 minutes here. We'll see.
Fourth lines generally don't, and do you want to, like the fourth line of Anaheim with Viel, Wash, and Moore, do you want to engage with that? Does Knobloch want to put that fourth line out against their fourth line? If Viel's looking for a scrap, do you want Doc on the ice or do you not want him on the ice? And maybe you say, I don't want Anaheim to get that kind of energy they're looking for. I'm not sure how Knobloch will coach that, but if Anaheim wants to mix it up, the Oilers are tougher now than they used to be. I'm good with that. If that's where the game goes, the Oilers can defend themselves. They got tough guys.
Oh, yeah. No, I think they can defend themselves for sure. I'm just saying that it's like, I know there's been lots of talk about Gudas, and I understand it, but I'll say that if you're Chris Knobloch and they're going to put Gudas out on the ice against McDavid or Draisaitl, you're like, yes, please, because that's their third pair. And you'll take him and Hines, who's got 6 NHL games experience. That's like when we look at Chris Knobloch, I know he said he's not going to be looking and chasing matchups. I don't expect him to chase him. But I think there's going to be select times when you're the home team with last change that you're going to be trying to get one of your top 2 lines out against their third pair. At least in the over the course of the night, Spec, 2-3 minutes each line, right? That we're talking 3-4 shifts. I think that's very realistic.
Well, I mean, the beauty of having McDavid and Draisaitl on separate lines is it's harder to hide the Gudas Hines
100%
pairing from both those. They might be able to hide him. Quenneville might be able to hide him from McDavid, but he's not going to hide him from both McDavid and Draisaitl. So that's a problem. And I would say an old cat like Gudas, like he's slowing down. He's an older guy. He's been injured this year. If what often happens is he does see ice time against Edmonton's fourth line, if that's how it shakes down, then it's up to Frederick and it's up to Doc to get in there and pound that old cat and make him know that he's playing a young man's game here and get after him. Sure, you want to soften up Lacombe, you want to soften up Carlson. That's just how hockey's played. But when you find yourself on the ice with a guy that could be a factor in this series, if he starts throwing open ice hits, I would say that a guy like Doc and Frederick ought to put a puck in his corner and drill him too.
Quickly, Spec, the weekend of playoffs, what stood out for you?
Oh man, I wish I'd have been in Buffalo last night. Holy man, did that look like fun.
Oh yeah.
Like the energy. Poor Ray Ferraro, he's screaming at the top of his lungs just to give you do his job. I love Slav. I haven't seen a guy shoot a snapper like Slavkovsky put past Vasilevsky in overtime. Like, holy man, what a rocket of a shot that was. Like that tall kid, and he leans on that stick. Whoo, can he rifle it? So that was pretty cool. I enjoyed both of those. I thought, Vegas beat Utah last night, but I liked Utah in that game. I really did. I thought, they were close to having that game, and they're quicker. For sure, they're quicker. If they could find a way to not get leaned on quite as much, because I thought once Vegas started, playing, their big guys played more physical and stuff, it helped them to catch up. But I'm not counting Utah out in that Vegas series one bit. How about you?
No, I still like Vegas in this series, but I thought Utah would give them a run for it. But hey, Utah had a 2-1 lead going into the third period last night. And you know what? That's one where you're on the road in game 1 and you've played really well. You got to put that game away. And they got outscored 3-0 in the final.
They did. Right? But you know what? They got a lot to build on. It's their first ever playoff game for a lot of those kids. Yep. They had them for 40 minutes. If Big Bear Tourigny, he's got a lot to work with there with that team, and it's a good, quick team. Oh boy, they're a quick team, and that to me is Vegas's Achilles heel. They're not fast. They do lots of stuff well, man. They got good players and experience. I like Vegas, don't get me wrong, but they're not fast. And if Utah can exploit that, there might be some runway there.
Do you think Sean Durzee's headbutt should be suspension? Remember when Darnell Nurse got suspended for headbutt?
Dumb thing to do. I think the refs are in a bind because you can't give 2 minutes for headbutting. What they should have done is given him an extra 2 minutes. It was such a minor, tiny little headbutt. Like, oh my God, no. There's no suspension. There's no major 2-minute penalty. Sure, could have been a 2-minute penalty, but nah. What do you think? Are we putting a guy away from that little act?
No, I don't think. Hey, it's Rasmus Andersson. You know my views on Rasmus Andersson. I think he's the biggest pretender in the league. I've said this for years. So, no, my viewpoint was no, that's not a suspension at all. But
yeah,
I hope it adds more to it. I would. I don't even think. I think Durzi would fight him. I don't even think he'd be scared. Durzi's a little water bug, but he'd fight him. So that would be.
Yeah, he'd probably fight him. I mean, they're both
to me, has been the biggest pretender in the league for a long time. So that's just my view.
Well, keep that thought for the second round, buddy.
Beck, enjoy it. Should be a lot of fun tonight. Oilers and the Ducks.
All right, man. We'll see you down the rink.
All right, there you go. That's Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Quick break. We'll come back more on the Oilers. We got Cam Tate in the 2-minute warning. We'll get you set up for game number 1. Oilers and the Ducks. It's the Gregor Show. Live and on the Rocks. Jasper Ave on 118th Street is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
For over 50 years, The Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made-in-Canada sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99. And save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. Because our team is built on second chances, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit HireGood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Professional golf is coming to Blackhawk Golf Club this fall. The ATB Classic, presented by Building Trades of Alberta, brings the stars of PGA Tour Americas to you. Enjoy the ATB Fan Zone, presented by Michelob Ultra, where golf meets festival vibes. Upgrade to VIP-covered terrace seating with premium food and beverage options. September 17th to 20th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tour Americas commemorative gift. Get yours at atbclassic.com.
Hey there, it's Brandon Douglas from Sports 1440. If you're tired of slow, unreliable internet connections like I am, check out Starlink. It's fast, reliable, even in bad weather, and even works for 4K streaming for movie nights, online gaming, and more. Growing up on the farm in the sticks of central Alberta, we tried everything to get reliable internet, but we're always left with buffering video and half-loaded websites. There's nothing worse than losing your connection while streaming the big game. I'm getting mine set up soon and can't wait. If you're ready for better internet, order online in 2 minutes at starlink.com/radio or call 1-800-GO-STARLINK.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:30. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. We are into game twos in the National Hockey League tonight. The Penguins and the Flyers, no score midway through the first period. Penguins just wrapping up a power play. Pretty timid start to that game. Only 3 shots for each team. So the first 12 minutes of the game, the Senators and the Hurricanes coming up, puck drop in about 10 minutes time. Then you got the Wild and the Stars. And of course, the final game tonight, Edmonton and Anaheim. Expect a puck drop around 8:22. So you got some time. You got about just under 3 hours, 2 hours and 50 minutes if you want to get it. But I actually recommend getting a little bit early if you want some good seats. See people reeling in already when they're Oilers jerseys. But if you want to watch the game tonight, OTR, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street. All sorts of drink and food specials throughout the game. They play a lot of games. And trust me, they got the sound on. They got TVs all over the place. It's a fantastic place to watch the game. And let's get more in the Oilers locker room. We heard from the head coach earlier, but let's hear from Zach Hyman and his thoughts first of all on what he feels the challenges the Ducks present to the Edmonton Oilers.
Obviously, a young, hungry team. For a lot of those guys, their first time in the playoffs. And they have a ton of skill. They score a lot of goals. They're dangerous. So, it'll be a good series.
Not giving you much on that one, are they? What about their defensive improvement? Is it focusing? How have they been able to lock in down the stretch?
Like I said, it's a long season. It's a long 82-game season. We'd love to play our best for the entire 82, but this team has a tendency of knowing when to elevate and knowing how to play the right way when we need to. And I think we're very good at facing adversity and very good when our backs are against the wall in those last 10 games. We didn't have a playoff spot secured. We didn't have home ice secured. So it was time to really dial things in and to play to the standard that we want to for an entire season.
I like his honesty, right? Hey, you wish you could play that way, that they don't. And no player's ever going to come out and tell you that the games in December, January don't matter, because they do matter. Because if you lose them all, you can't get to the playoffs, right? If you dig yourself too deep of a hole and you wait too long, you're done. The Oilers, you know what? Would they have turned it on if other teams were playing better? We'll never know. I'll never know. I can't say for sure they would have. I can't say for sure they wouldn't have. But they did have the luxury this year of not falling behind. A lot of the other teams, no one was really able to run away with it. Quenville was telling me like the Ducks went 27 days this year where they didn't have a win over a 27-day span. Crazy. And they were in a playoff spot pretty much for the most of the season, and they still just had a lengthy funk as well. So, but the Oilers have figured out that, guess what? It's time to dial things in, and away they go. And lastly, Hyman just pretty confident about his team when they're fully healthy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the status is on those guys, but whoever's going tonight is going to be. I think we have a lot of depth on our team. Like I think guys who have stepped in have really done a phenomenal job, and a lot of young guys taking on big roles. And I think everybody's aware of what Leon and what Dickey provide.
Yes, Leon Draisaitl is in, and trust me, don't buy for a second that the players didn't know if those guys were playing or not. I know, and hey, Knobloch just said, hey, it's in the playoffs now. We're not going to give you lots on lineups. That's okay. It's our job as a reporter. It's our job. That's why I searched around and was pretty confident when I tweeted out afterwards. No, Draisaitl is playing, and I expect Dickinson to play as well. And you know what? Now, if we see some injuries, that'll be other question. I don't see any changes in defense coming anytime soon. I look at up front. Could Szymanski draw back in later on? Sure, but I don't think it's as easy as people think. I think there's some that maybe are underestimating some of the things that Henrique does over Szymanski at this stage of their careers. I fully believe that Szymanski will replace him next season for sure. You just look at salary cap and everything else and age and his play, and like Josh Szymanski This has been a remarkable season for him. Myself, I don't know how many of you, anybody even knew anything about him. Then he signs. You're like, oh, okay, great. Depth guy. We'll see. I don't think anybody expected him to be in the NHL this year. And not only did he make it to the NHL, he got to play in over 20 games in the regular season, and he didn't look overwhelmed, right? Like it is a little bit funny to me that he's got 2 goals, but neither one he shot into the net. Right? One was a pass going to a guy, went in, another pass went in off his skate. Hey, they all count. But he got into actually 24 games for the Oilers and wasn't a negative player, was a plus player at 5-on-5, got a little bit of penalty killing time. I think he was on like 10 or 11, maybe 15 minutes this year, but he earned the trust of the coach. And his teammates are like, this guy's reliable. The Oilers didn't need more offense. They've got a lot of offense. They needed more guys who take pride and are committed to defense. And that's what he had. Oh, by the way, he also played in the Olympics this year for Germany. So what an unbelievable season for Josh Szymanski. Honestly, I remember when we talked to his coach last summer when he signed him, and he was pretty confident. He goes, I think Josh, after some seasoning, will be a guy who has a chance because he just keeps improving. He's always kept improving every year on his team, and he'd coach him for 3 years. He just kept getting better and better and better. And so I'm not going to put a cap because, well, what's Szymanski going to be? I don't know. I can't say it with certainty. Could this guy end up being a really good third-line center? Yeah. Would he be a second-line? Like, being a second-line center is damn hard. Like, what is the one thing we talk about teams? What do they need? Second-line centers. There's a shortage of them. There's not enough. There's lots of like Lowry in Winnipeg, hell of a player. Really good third-line center. You don't view him offensive enough to be a second-line center. So, but if Josh Szymanski could become, what if Josh Szymanski could become Kyle Brodziak? Kyle Brodziak had a fantastic career. Right? The guy scored 20 goals a few times. Like, he was a good third-line center who would moonlight at times, even in Minnesota, as a second-liner for a bit, but he's a third-line center. 40-point guy, not any power play time. Killed penalties, big, strong body. Man, if Szymanski could become that, you'd be doing cartwheels. Cartwheels. So you hope that. So, but because he's not starting the playoffs, I don't think it's a big negative at all on him. Hey, Gregor, what's Szymanski's upside? Is it Janmark, Lander? My worry is he doesn't get shots. But he's played 24 games. And Lander, are you kidding me? No. He's looked more NHL ready in his games than Lander ever did. And I like Anton Lander, but Anton Lander didn't have the foot speed. He was a really good American League player, but when he got to the NHL, he didn't have this foot speed to compete. Szymanski's a much better skater, and he's bigger. So now Matthias Janmark, he doesn't skate as well as Janmark. Janmark can really go, but Janmark's a winger, not a center iceman, but he's really smart and reliable. Like I just said, to me, right, if he could become Brodziak, that'd be hell. That might even be too much because Brodziak scored 20 goals a few times. So that might even be a little too high to ask. But, Matthias Janmark's had a really good career. Great skater, strong in the puck. And Janmark in the playoffs, the best thing about Janmark is his ability to elevate his game. He's better in the postseason, for sure. So, quick break. We'll come back. Cam Tate will get us. What's Tater got fired up today about the playoffs? It's coming up next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
At Booster Juice, doing good tastes really good too. From now until April 26th, every purchase of a Mood Booster Ball will help support the Community Booster Fund. So while you're enjoying a Mood Booster Ball made with caramel, marshmallows, and peanut butter, you're also supporting athletics, community, and educational initiatives across Canada. Let's fuel healthy communities together. For more information, please visit boosterjuice.com. Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
It's like a locker room, minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Carius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for sports.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, excavators, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, packers, road reclaimers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Welcome back to Nissan Head to Head. Today, we've got Nissan Kicks coming in strong as a leader in fuel efficiency for gas-only CUVs. Some of the other guys respond with a wallet-breaking detour to the pumps. Hats off to Nissan's fuel-efficient Japanese engineering.
Right now, finance a Nissan Kicks for 0% for 36 months. Visit nissan.ca for details. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring Japa Equipment Rentals realignment with 5 2022 to 2020 XCMG 250U, 300U, 360U, and 490U excavators. Search Japa at maauctions.com.
Running a business is tough. Finding new customers shouldn't be. Stop chasing leads. Let them come to you with Stingray, offering you access to more digital, outdoor, and traditional advertising platforms, including radio, connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out-of-home. So while you're closing the next deal, Stingray is working for you to deliver more leads, more customers, more sales. It's that easy. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and always be closing.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The playoffs are here, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play, score, and win every game. See more at ontherocksYEG.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely, lovely Monday afternoon. Look at the weather. How can you not be? Like, what a perfect time. Oiler fans, you've been sitting there, you've been grinding out, getting tired of the snow. And for those of you that like to go to the watch party, couldn't have asked for better tonight because, 19 degrees out there? It's unbelievable. I was walking by the other day and I saw it, and they got the whole thing is all ready. They've obviously learned from previous years to how to do things to make it smooth. I'm sure when I go to the rink, it'll probably already be full. Like, people line up early to get in there. And you know what? Hey, starting to fill up here at OTR, but don't worry. You got some, there's a few tables left to get into. And if you want, you can just call, make a reservations, even easier. Check it out, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. Cons, want to get your thoughts on the Oilers and the Quackers, and your reasons why you think Edmonton could win this series quickly. What would be those reasons?
I think for a quick series wrap-up, it would be the Edmonton Oilers offense and just how good they can be, obviously led by Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and company. And then we know they can play that smothering defense. So if they can do that first couple games here, then I see no reason why it wouldn't be a shorter series. Now, people can look back and say, in a 5 or 6 game span, we've seen the Oilers collapse defensively and just not have it. So maybe it gets extended to a little bit longer because of that. But I think, Gregor, just the way the Edmonton Oilers have shown in the past that they can smother you defensively, they can get into shooting lanes, block shots, coupled with having two of the best offensive players in the world, the most productive defensemen, adding Zach Hyman in there as well. You know, Nuge, Rosovic, Matt Savoy, I think is going to have a big playoffs. I just think that they have too much firepower, too many weapons, and you know, they can play that defensive game. It's got them to 2 straight Stanley Cup finals. So I think that's the recipe for the Oilers.
I look at the Oilers, and to me, the way they can beat the Ducks is use their experience, not to the way Tampa Bay used it. Because I don't think Anaheim's big. Like, I don't think, like, Edmonton, obviously, you're going to be physical. But I think Tampa Bay felt like, hey, we could be overly physical and maybe intimidate Montreal. And it obviously backfired because they took too many penalties, and Montreal's power play is pretty damn good, and Slavkovsky scored a hat trick. So, you know, failed strategy. I think Edmonton will be aggressive, but where they're just going to want to pressure. Hyman, Podkolzin, like Edmonton's speed. Look at you. So you got Savoy and Hyman, fast. Podkolzin, Kapanen, fast. Rosovic, fast. Nugent Hopkins, good skater. Doc Frederick, quick. Trent Frederick, now that he's, you know, looks completely different player than what you saw a year ago when he's coming off the ankle injury. Like, it's not even close, right? And I look at Edmonton, and I think it's just going to be about pressure. Not even so much physical, but just pressure. Force the Ducks to have to make quick decisions, and that's going to lead to some turnovers. Because I don't – like, Anaheim's defense is okay. It's not great. It's not the strength of the team. The forwards are the strength of the team. And so – and I'm not sure their forwards defending is the strength of their team, but their size, their skill, and all that, that's the strength of their team. So go to the weakness of the Ducks, which I think is pressure them. I would expect Edmonton – I know Edmonton isn't a team that loves to chip and chase or dump and chase, but I won't be surprised if we see that maybe a little bit more early on. We've seen that in the past, and they feel that's a way to get some teams off their game. So I expect to see that with the Anaheim Ducks tonight. Scoreless first period between the Flyers and the Penguins, and you want to talk about. Now obviously I'm on the air, so it's not like I can watch the game intently, but Pittsburgh had 2 shots on goal in the first period. Philly had 5. You can't get much closer to low event hockey than that. Like, the Hurricanes and Senators have 9 shots and the game's 5 minutes old. The Flyers and Penguins combined for 7 in 20 minutes. And I'm watching this Carolina Ottawa game here at OTR because you got the big screens. It's unreal. Like, that's the thing. You come down early, you can watch all the other games, get yourself jazzed up. Then, of course, they'll turn it all to the Oiler games. But, man, the pace and speed in this Ottawa-Carolina game, and that's funny because whoever wins that series is going to play the Flyers and the Penguins. Like, they're going to have to up their game for sure because that was a very, very cautious.
Gregor, 3 power plays for the Penguins as well.
In the first period, they got 2 shots?
3 power plays, 2 shots.
Oh, that is wild. Oh, my God. Wild. How do you get 2 shots on goal and have 3 power plays? Ooh, that is that's a special kind of ineptitude. I can tell you that right now. Special kind. Hey, Greg, do you think Joe Quenneville's experience will be difficult for Knobloch to handle? Mike, I don't really see how. Joe Quenneville has a lot of – Chris Knobloch's been to 2 Stanley Cup Finals, people. Like, how much more experience can he have? The only guy who's coached more, was the guy who beat him, Paul Maurice, right? But you look at Joe Quenneville. Joe Quenneville hasn't I guess they beat the Oilers, right? In the no, he wasn't even with the Oilers. My bad. He was with Florida in the qualifying round. So I don't think, I got to double check, but I don't think Quenneville's won a playoff series since he won his cup. Right? Like, you can't, like, he's got championships. That doesn't guarantee him success every year. So yeah, I just pulled it up. So they won in 2015. Then he lost in 16, lost in 17, didn't make the playoffs in 18, got fired in 2019, then went to Florida in 1920. And lost in the qualifying round, similar to the Oilers. Then they lost in round 1 the next year, and then the next year he got let go after 7 games. And now this year with the Anaheim Ducks back in the playoffs. So I don't know, but A coach is like, you can coach and you can strategize, but you still got to have the horses to run. And if we go player by player, I think we'd all agree the Oilers have the advantage in a lot of the positions, right? Like, let's just do it quickly. So if you look at the top line of the Oilers, McDavid, Savoy, Hyman, they got Karlsson, Terry, Kreider, right? I'm taking Hyman over Terry. I'm taking McDavid over Karlsson. Okay, Chris Kreider, maybe experience-wise. Okay, sure. Second line, Draisaitl, Kapanen, Podkolzin. Granlund, obviously that's Edmonton. Podkolzin, I would take him over Killorn at this stage of his career. All right, and then Kapanen, obviously I'm taking Beckett Seneke over him. Then you go to the third line. They got Poling, Dickinson. I'll take Dickinson. Gauthier, Rosovic, I'm taking Gauthier. McTavish, Nugent Hopkins. Ooh. It's interesting, man. The rumblings around Anaheim is I think they might be getting rid of McTavish in the offseason. So that'd be an interesting one to look at. But this year, Nugent Hopkins has still been more productive. Fourth line, Henrique, Doc, Frederick, Wash, Viel, Moore. I think you're probably taking Edmonton's guys. Ekholm and Bouchard versus Lacombe and Trouba. I really like young Lacombe, but I take Bouchard over him. Ekholm over Trouba. Michikov, Karlsson, Murphy, Nurse. Two very different styles of defense. Better offense in Anaheim, better defense in Edmonton. Wallman, Emberson, and Gudis, Hines. I would take Wallman. I would take Gudis over Emberson at this stage. And then Dustal, Ingram. It's probably kind of a wash listening to Woodley. So I think Edmonton has the advantage in a lot of places. And I think we'll see that in the series. I have the Oilers in 5. Connor Halley, you have them in what?
I took them in 6.
In 6. We'll see how it goes. Enjoy the playoffs. Get down here to OTR to watch it and go to playalberta.ca if you want to check out some of our prop bets for the day. Some fun ones. Check it out. Jason Gregor Show, playalberta.ca. Let's get to the con man. The Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Oh, look at the roads, baby. Now you're thinking some summer tires. Get them on now. FountainTire.com. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game 1 finally here. Oilers and Ducks from Rogers Place. Puck drop around 8:20. Our pregame coverage coming up next with Andrew Walker. 2 games underway after 20 scoreless between the Penguins and the Flyers. While the Hurricanes lead the Sens 1-0. Midway to the first. Stankoven with the second of the playoffs. Later tonight, you got the Stars and Wild from Dallas. Minnesota currently leading 1-0 in the association. Raptors trail the Cavs in game 2 of their best of 7, 42-36 in the second quarter. Later in the night, Knicks taking on the Hawks, and the Timberwolves are in Denver. Off the court, Victor Wembanyama, the first unanimous NBA Defensive Player of the Year since the award's inception in 1983. And in the majors, Jays up against the Angels. First pitch set for 7:40. Elsewhere, Marlins lead the Cards 2-1. Reds have a 3-1 lead over the Rays. The Guardians at home trail the Astros 7-2. Later tonight, Rockies host the Dodgers. The Athletics taking on the Mariners. And earlier today was the Red Sox over the Tigers 8-6. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, free-game coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. They'll be joined by David Amber and Landon Ferraro. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station.